TikTok time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D Wood. Sorry we're a little late. Had one more last minute file to get ready. Not sure how far we're going to get. I have not watched the Trinity section of Mohammed Hijab's debate with Avery. I think I saw most on my stream and Hatun's live stream, and then my live stream, and then AP's live stream. I think I got through most of the Islamic dilemma debate, which was a total disaster for Hijab. He was completely ignorant of the topic, and that should be, as I pointed out several times, that should be good news to all you Christians out there. If the top Dawa guy, the people's champ and all this stuff is completely incapable of responding to an argument, what do you think your Muslim friend from school or, coworker or the Muslim who lives down the street, what do you think his response is going to be? Probably not going to be very strong. It's just a really good argument, so everyone should be checking that out. But I have not checked out the Trinity portion of the debate. I did watch a few minutes of this aftermath video where they had a little group therapy session with that guy Subhor and Mohammed Hijab, and then they kind of, oh yes, Avery's very bad. He's bad. He's very scared of us and all this stuff right before copyright striking him to get it taken down. Oh my goodness, 2026, man, 2026. Anyway, guys, so we're gonna check out some of the Trinity debate. Not sure who's watched what. I think some people have seen some clip. Let's just go around. Jai, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Trinity portion of the debate, yes, I did see it. I watched the whole thing. Actually, Chris from Speaker's Corner and I were live, and we were just finishing up our stream. All of a sudden, I saw Avery was live with Muhammad Hijab, so we started doing like a live watch party, I guess. So, we didn't have much commentary. So, yeah, we were basically just watching. And, yeah, we went through the whole thing.
Okay, you've seen it. Okay, good. You've seen all that.
I've seen it, yeah. In terms of the content, what to expect tonight, definitely, not my area, but I'm going to be learning from you guys today. I'm just here for some colorful commentary, I guess, and I'll comment on some of the rhetoric that Mohammed Hijab uses.
All right, so we've got the ginger-looking guy who's going to be color commentary. That's good. So we got Jai for color commentary. Anthony, you said you've seen a couple clips or something, or a clip?
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure how much I've seen because it's been obviously taken down from certain sites. People have been clipping it, and I haven't been able to see the whole thing straight way through, so there's probably chunks on. Obviously, if you look at Hijab, I kept getting his shorts where he's clipping certain things. And I know I'm not getting the full scoop there, so I can't really be sure how much I've seen of all of it. I think I probably saw most of the Islamic dilemma part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
so
I
that
caught
was
the tail end for sure, where Libiano comes on and then Nick comes on.
Yeah, so that was the Islamic dilemma stuff was just a total massacre. But I do not know how the Trinity thing went. I know Hijab eventually at some point brought in Libiano, who Nick is always running from, I hear. So hey,
fighting,
Nick.
Man, I'm fighting.
So Nick, did you see the Trinity portion of the debate there?
Yes, I was. So I was gonna go in the live and actually debate Hijab, and then Logic came in, so I went ahead and started live streaming. And so the Islamic dilemma portion was kind of, just like felt like he wouldn't really answer any questions. And then we finally got to the Trinity portion. And I was cracking up the whole time because he was just sitting there making these statements, claiming to be logical, but he was mixing two different logical definitions up. And I mean, it was just hilarious, the fact that he had no clue what he was talking about. It was very clear. That's why he had to bring Libiano up to try to come help him. But then when I came up then to refute his help, then it never mind, to kick him from the live. So it was amazing.
Now on that, so again, I haven't seen it, but what you just said, that he's kind of using words but not really understanding their meanings. Is that along the lines of like Ali Dawa when he's giving a contingency argument and he doesn't understand the terms he's using? He's like parroting like William Lane, they'll parrot like different philosophers on different topics and so on, but it's different. Like William Lane Craig or some Christian philosopher who deals with various arguments and so on. Their goal is to make really solid arguments that can stand up to philosophical scrutiny. And so they're very careful and methodical. And then, if they find out there's a possible objection at some point, they'll, try to reformulate the argument to take that into account and so on. Whereas it always seems with Dawa guys, the goal is not to make a solid argument that can stand up to philosophical scrutiny. It's to use words that make you sound smart to people who have no clue what you're talking about. Oh, he used a big word. He said contingency. He said this. He said that. Oh my goodness. He must have an airtight argument. And that's what it seems like with Ali Dawa. But is that like what Hijab is doing? He's using terms and
impossible existence.
That's exactly what's happening. So like we'll get into it, but for instance, he said Leibniz law, and we'll explain this later, but he said Leibniz law is the law of identity. They're two completely different things. They're not the same thing, and he didn't understand it. And he ended up not being able to explain anything. So it's funny when Logic asked him to explain, for example, he explains, why does he need to use absolute identity here? He comes back and says, "Oh, can you even name one book by Leibniz? Can you name one book by a philosopher?" Because he tries to burden shift because he realizes what he's saying is actually wrong. And more than likely, he was probably getting sent messages by people saying, "Hey, this is wrong. Stop saying it." And then that's why he kind of started to switch up his view halfway through.
Leibniz, interesting individual. He had a special desk chair made. Right. So, I mean, one, he's one of those awesome guys with he's a mathematician and a philosopher and this and that, kept up a steady correspondence with more than 1,000 people, just writing back and forth and so on. But I don't know why. What always stood out as most interesting to me was that he had a special desk chair made that had a toilet built into it because he didn't want to break his chain of thought even to go to the bathroom. So he's just on there. He's literally sitting on a toilet all day. And so he doesn't have to be distracted by anything. He can just keep writing and go with the flow, man. Go with the flow. Anyway,
I need to be that level of locked in. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
I was
dedication.
gonna say some streamers are gonna be like, "Yo, I gotta get one of those."
Yeah, so that's before social media. We can't have that level of focus anymore on what's going on. All right, guys. So we're gonna start checking out this debate. I'm not sure exactly. I still have the original, just full debate video. So Avery said that the Islamic dilemma section went for about an hour. So I'll have to kind of look around for where it starts, and then we'll check that out. Let's take these first few super chats here. David. Very rude here. David won't be on in a jiffy. He has a gift for lateness. Oh boy, you're a riot, Jack Ray. You're a riot. I'm assuming the rest of you guys don't know what that was about. But yeah, yesterday, after years of saying GIF as a little GIF file that you put up and stuff, and every time I would say it, someone would go, "No, it's GIF, it's GIF, it's GIF." So finally yesterday I said, and so I put up a GIF and everyone freaks out. "It's GIF, you idiot, you dumb dork, it's GIF," right? And so AP looked it up. The guy who invented it, he calls it GIF. But since then, everyone's called it GIF.
I still call it GIF. I don't care. I still call it GIF. That's what I feel like it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. But it's just annoying. It's like I don't even want to use the word because every time you bring it up, someone has to object. "No, it's GIF. He called it a GIF," but everyone else calls it GIF. So
you see, David, the actual answer is these are different readings. It's different qira'at. So there's like one of it's a GIF, and Gabriel came twice, and he said it both ways. So
yes, but Allah revealed it in both ways, and they're complementary.
Yeah, exactly. They don't contradict.
My wife was baptized yesterday. Awesome. Some of her friends and family don't understand why it is so important to us, so I'm sharing the news here where other believers can celebrate as well. Hey, you just said your wife was baptized yesterday. That's cool. My oldest son was baptized yesterday.
Let's go.
Yep.
Wow.
I never want to I know my bloodline, so I don't want to push people too hard into things because we have a knack for like massive rebellion in certain situations. So I kind of wait for him to say, "I want to be baptized." So anyway, that was cool. And And what's crazy is like the spiritual revival he's had over the past few months, because he just wasn't focusing on things, kind of came about at like Muslims going after his mom, and then he becomes enraged and he's like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm like, you can't do that, man, you can't do that. I'm going to do it. No, that would be illegal. You can't do that. And I was like, look, man, you getting ticked off at him? Go after the prophet, man, and defend the gospel. Do that. That's how you deal with these guys. And so anyway, and he started reading like crazy and going to all these Bible studies and stuff, and wanted to get baptized. So thanks, all you Dawa clowns. You're doing a bang up job. We got this. Hey, Ida.
What's up, Ida?
Said, get up. Let's see. Peter Geach has the only view of relative identity.
That's going to come up in the debate. It's going to come up in the debate.
Oh yeah, that would be false.
Oh,
that would be false.
Yeah, you guys didn't see it, so you don't know what that's a reference to.
Made it popular, but
yeah. So, and guys, I haven't been involved in philosophy except some certain things that I've looked up in like a decade, right? So, graduated, got my PhD, did papers in various places and stuff, but then ended up focusing just on YouTube and stuff like that. So, this will be kind of back in the day, but yeah, even, I mean, I know Peter Geach he's the one who set it off, and he's the one that people would normally quote and stuff like that, but he's definitely not the only one there. GIF, good GIF, hello, have fun, live stream guys. Now, everyone's going to bring this up forever. Anthony, where is Mr. Jewman? I cackled at a tune. Did she say Mr. Jewman? What?
Oh, now I get it. So I knew what he was referring to in general because I was on with Hatun and a Jewish guy. He keeps coming back, and we always give him homework because he always ends not knowing what to say. And so he came back after a couple weeks with his homework done. We were going to discuss Psalm 45, verse 6, where it says, "Your throne, O God, is forever and ever," addressed to the King,
why are you running from Isaiah 53, man?
Because this was equally worthy of making the man run from. But Hatun kept calling him. She would try and because he would try and talk over me, and she goes, "Mr. Jewman, stop."
Hatun's funny. Let's see. Read ahead before showing. Ignore if disrupts. But there's a Christian energy drink called Agape Energy. There's a Muslim energy drink called Zut Energy. I think it's important to support other Christians. So here's so you can buy a case and try them. Hopefully others can support. I'm completely uninvolved. I do like that.
That was my first thought, that this is his product. Right? So he's like,
yeah, we're gonna have to make Zut Energy and then compare it with Agape Energy and see. There you go. See what energy people want. My bro took Xanax and was never this delusional. Nice. The fundamental theorem of internet naming is you ask the guy who named the thing, and if he disagrees with you, he's a dumb loser and wrong. That's correct. That's correct. And that's how people call it GIF. Can we invite Sahar TV? He was copyrighted by Mojo. We might need to do a show of everyone who's been copyrights struck by.
You want enough space. You're not going to have enough seats.
We'll have to rotate everyone in. But yeah, so it was just earlier. It was GodLogic 2.0, right? So that's
yeah. I'm surprised he hasn't tried to copyright mine yet, but maybe he just can't.
or mine. Maybe he's waiting for this one. He's going to strike them all. He's going to strike them all. What an absolute coward. No one can have any portion of this debate, even if it's totally fair use, dude. This is when they think this short term. Hey, here's something I can do, even though it doesn't work long term, because we have the right to use and share stuff. That's true of like using stuff in terms of fair use, where you take clips for purposes of education and criticism and so on, or if it's something, if it's an entire debate. If you give permission, which he did with Avery. And so this just not going to, I will be shocked if after the lawyers get involved, if Hijab really wants to head back to court, because he's got a little experience with that. But also, can you imagine this? Mr. Hijab, so what happened here? Well, this is Avery. He tried to post our debate, but it was my content, and you gave him permission. Yes, no, I did not. Well, we have video footage of it, but I said I did not. Believe me, like my stupid fans do. Hijab, has your testimony ever been called worthless by a judge here in the UK? No. Okay. Well, I have the judge's report right here, and it calls your testimony worthless because you're such a liar.
Wow.
That's what'll happen. Yeah. But yep, we need to do something about that. Congratulations to you and your son. May God bless you. Thanks, Ida. God bless you all, my favorite Dawa slayers. And the first sugar mommy was Khadija to Mohammed, and the first sugar daddy to Mohammed was Mohammed to Aisha. Must be recorded in Guinness. And we have GIF, giraffes interchange format, GIF, graphics interchange format. All right, now we've got that. Now we've got that cleared up, guys. All right, we're ready. I'm going to have to scroll around through this debate, and we'll see when it starts. Anything else before we start?
I don't think so. It was a pretty hard switch from the Islamic dilemma to Trinity, so it shouldn't be too bad to find.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
You want to ask me the question?
What's that?
No, I mean you could tell why he did that too, because he was getting ready to bring his buddy up there, Libiano. So you can tell he was pressing him to, hey, go to this topic, go to this topic, go to this topic, and you can tell that's why he went to that topic.
No, what's interesting about that? What's interesting about what Jai just said as well is I had like kind of some funny access when I was live streaming it. I was also live streaming. I got access to the backrooms chat too, so I could see all that. In the backrooms chat, the entire live Orthodox Muslim was begging to come up in the live. Please let me up, please rise me. Like every 5 seconds, it was crazy.
Wow. See, there you go.
You know who else had access to the backrooms?
Oh, come on.
The men of all.
Oh,
no, come on, guys. Come on. We're trying to watch a debate here. All right.
Come on, man.
You guys, Jai, tell me, this is at an hour in. Tell me if I need to.
I think it's like roughly 5 minutes from the hour mark. You should, he just like
5 minutes forward, 5 minutes forward, or 5 minutes back?
After.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go right now.
I disagree with you saying majority, but I do agree that there are two views on the preservation of the scripture.
Beautiful.
Okay, so that's still Islamic dilemma. Let me fast forward 5 minutes.
This goes against what Al-Bukhari mentioned. So this is, you wanted the reference. This is exactly done, right?
Yeah.
What do you want? Do you want the page number? Do you want? What do you want?
Can you shout out the page number and everything so we can look at that?
Yeah, Fath al-Bari, Sharh Sahih al-Bukhari, Ibn Hajar Asqalani. What do you call it? It's page number.
Look, Mohammed Hijab is just reading the notes that people sent him because he's a coward and he can't think for himself and he has to have people send him all the answers. Was that ChatGPT there, Hijab? Let me fast forward a little bit. Another minute. Let's see.
Your own concession that there are two views from the scholars. There's a view that some of them hold that the scriptures are textually corrupted. There's the other view that people like Bukhari, Ibn Abbas, and others, according to Ibn Bukhari, according to Bukhari, quoting Ibn Abbas, that the scriptures are textually preserved and they're only distorted in meaning, not in text. So,
not the ones that we have today, by the way.
1 second. So, in the time of Muhammad, according to a lot of your big scholars, the scriptures, as you already said, were preserved in Muhammad's time. Here's the thing.
According to some of our big scholars,
I got you.
That's true.
This is what this would mean.
According to majority of them, this is not true.
Please allow me to finish. Please allow me to finish. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is what this would mean, because I take this view, the view of Bukhari and others. But this is what this means.
Are they about to switch to Trinity, or should I fast forward?
I go like another minute or two forward.
All right. By the way, Muslims really don't understand the relevance of what's going on there by pointing out that there are Muslim scholars along the way who said that the Quran is affirming that the scriptures are reliable and uncorrupt. And they say, but there are other scholars. Most scholars say that the Bible is corrupted. You have sort of like two ways this could go about, right? Because there's some original position during the time of Islam, right? If the original position of Islam is the previous scriptures have been corrupted, one, that the Quran makes no sense. Like Allah would be the worst communicator ever because he'd be saying the opposite of that the entire time. But If the original position of Islam is that the scriptures of the Jews and Christians were corrupted, then it would be very difficult to understand how any scholars would ever conclude that the scriptures were reliable and authoritative and preserved, because you'd have no reason to say, oh, well, we all know the scriptures have been corrupted, but let's just declare as great Muslim commentators that the scriptures are reliable and preserved and authoritative. There would be no reason to go in that direction. Whereas if the original position is, no, the scriptures of the Jews and Christians are reliable and preserved and authoritative and so on for the Jews and Christians, and even over whether Muhammad's revelations are revelations from God, it makes perfect sense why scholars would eventually take a completely different position, because they find out that the Quran doesn't line up with the Bible. And so it makes sense to start off with one position and then to eventually conclude the opposite, because they realize they have to conclude the opposite in order to remain Muslims. It makes zero sense for the original position to be, nope, your scriptures are corrupted, and then for Muslim commentators to conclude the opposite. What is there that would make you conclude the opposite? Was it Jews and Christians telling you? Huh? Was it? No. So why did they conclude that the scriptures were preserved if the original position was somehow that they were corrupted? So anyway, the point is, one is a coherent position, namely, the Quran does affirm inspiration, preservation, authority of our scriptures, and some scholars have acknowledged it, even though others realize the Bible doesn't line up, so they have to take the opposite position. So that makes sense. The alternative, no, the original position was corrupted, and then Muslim scholars along the way concluded the opposite. That makes zero sense. There's no reason to conclude the opposite of that. So anyway, yeah, that's the relevance there.
And
by the way,
the Surah 931 problem. They have taken their scholars as lords in derogation of Allah. Remember how Muhammad interpreted it? He said when Jews and Christians interpreted the scriptures the way they did, they were in fact making them lords.
Yep.
Muhammad Hijab.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, so when the point that Anthony was making is, Muhammad responding to someone who raises his hand and objects and says, wait a minute, Surah 9 verse 31 says that they take their rabbis and priests as lords. What are you talking about? They don't worship their rabbis and priests. Muhammad said, no, they do. Anytime Allah says one thing and they go with their rabbis and priests instead of Allah, they're worshiping their rabbis and priests, which is very interesting, because we'll sit here and say, Allah says this, and they'll go, but the scholar says this. Well, Allah says this. Yeah, but my favorite scholar says the opposite, so I'm going with him. Okay, you worship him. And when Muhammad Hijab says the opposite of what Allah says, which he does repeatedly, guess what? And if you go with him, you're worshiping Muhammad Hijab. We need to point this out more. We need to make multiple.
By the way, that also makes Muhammad himself a mushrik, because he disobeyed Allah by obeying his wife, who was giving a command contrary to what Allah was commanding. And that's what chapter 66 is all about, that he's making something impermissible that Allah made permissible. But he was obeying his wife, means he's worshiping her, when she was giving him a ruling that contradicts Allah's ruling.
And let's see, I went forward 2 more minutes. Let's see.
I just got a message. It's around someone. They said it's around like 1 hour and 11 minutes and 30 seconds or so.
Okay, all right. Let's see, 1:11, and I'll start at 20.
See how good their memory is.
Quran says that the earth is flat, but Ibn Hazm believes that the Quran says the earth is round. So there are 2 interpretations. Someone can follow this one, and someone can follow that one. It's not a matter where Islam has one opinion on it. So it can't be an undercutter for Islam. Do you get it? It can't be an undercutter for Islam, because there's more than one legitimate opinion, and in my estimation, it is the majority opinion. Now we've finished. Your strongest.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we finished.
He's about to go on now.
It's the majority position. The majority position. That's what we care about, even if it contradicts Allah. And by the way, yes. Hey, can we say that if the majority position contradicts Allah, that Muslims are worshiping the majority of Muslim scholars? These guys are like the biggest mushriks the world's ever seen, man. Wild stuff. All right, let's check this out. Anytime you want to pause to comment, just say pause that real quick. Let's see.
argument has been complete. Now it's time for Christianity.
Whoa,
unless
whoa,
you want to run
whoa.
away.
No, it's done. It's done.
It's done now.
done.
It's done now.
I still got a quote to you out
It's done now.
Tabari.
It's just like, people can decide. People heard you. People heard me.
Look, it's done now.
It's done
Can't
now.
quote out Tabari just to land
So,
it?
no. We spent a lot of time on it.
We've done.
I
We've
promise
spent a
y'all
lot of
won't
time
even
on
give another reference.
We
after
spent a
this.
lot of time on
We're done.
it. We spent a lot of
Okay,
time on
now-
it.
Al Tabari
Don't quote our scholars to us.
Al Tabari doesn't
Yeah,
take
no, fine,
79 as the
People can
corruption of the
decide now.
Torah.
People can decide. People can decide, Avery. People can
Done.
decide.
He
Now
says they
it's
wrote
time
a
for
book based
Christianity.
on their own interpretation.
Yeah,
Done.
now
Nothing
it's
to do with
time.
the Torah.
Let me ask you this.
That's
Is Jesus
Tabari's
fully God?
point.
By the
Is
way,
Jesus fully God?
but like people can decide, but I'm gonna copyright strike people who do reviews.
Yeah, you hear that?
So-
Well, we will let the people decide. But if anyone discusses it or posts anything, I will copyright strike you because I'm so confident that everyone will agree with me. Coward, absolute coward.
We say that he's truly God.
No, it's Jesus fully God.
Is he fully God?
I already answered you. We don't say fully
Fully God.
as if there's percentages. We say truly God.
Okay, is he fully God?
How many times you want to answer this?
No. Is he fully God?
You're a straw man in our position. Please, if you're going to ask me the
Jesus fully
question,
God?
I'll answer it
All these
again.
questions and
We
references,
don't
I'm asking
say
you one question.
fully
Is
God.
Jesus fully God or
We
not?
say truly God. Is Jesus truly God?
I'm
Jesus is
asking you
truly
whether he's
God.
truly
We can
God.
already
Is
start.
We can already
Jesus
pause
fully
it. We
God
can
or
already
not?
pause it. So what he's trying to do here is, I'll give you an example. So we don't say fully God typically, especially to Muslim. You can say it. We don't say it to Muslims, so we know how they're going to try to word it. But because fully can entail like parts and like composition. So like, for example, we were talking about this. I was talking about this IP at a barbecue the other day. So imagine we have like a donut that got like some cream inside of it, like not in the zut sense. You got a donut that got some cream inside of it, all right? And we say this donut is full of cream.
Hold on.
Right,
Is
that
this?
means
Wait, hang on. Is the donut Muhammad in this analogy? I just wanted to
I'm
understand.
gonna leave it up to the viewer. It might be. It might be.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Go
Donut
ahead.
is full of cream. That's denoting some sort of volume, some sort of amount of cream that's in it. But if we say that this donut truly has cream in it, it could have a little bit or it could have a lot. Like it doesn't denote any sort of volume or percentage of it, but fullness does. So that's why we say truly God, because it doesn't denote that he has some part of it or some sum of parts that make it the whole, etc. And so he's trying to make him say fully because he wants to do that to him, but he obviously can't. Avery played it well.
Yeah. So just to add to that, so when I was on with Hatun, this is the portion that she played for us, and one of the observations I made is that Avery could have said fully God, but he's anticipating Hijab, equivocating on what he would mean by that, because in fact, a text like Colossians 2:9 says, "In Christ dwells all the fullness of deity," but this doesn't mean what Nick just mentioned as an error, right? The error he had in view, which is no doubt where Hijab was going to go if Avery had said that. So I think it was a strategically good move.
Nice try, Hijab. He didn't go for it.
Also, I want to point out that it's also he's being faithful to the traditional historical creedal language, like the Nicene Creed, true God of true God. So this is like historically the language that we use as Christians as well.
All right, here we go.
Jesus is
Is he
truly
fully God or not? Is he fully God or not?
I already answered you.
Yes or no?
Give me another
Yes or
question.
no?
I already answered you.
Yes or is,
Already
is
answered
Jesus
you.
fully God or not?
I already answered you.
Yes or don't run.
I already
Don't be
answered
scared.
you. Yeah, don't
Don't
run
be
from an
scared.
actual Christian
Don't
who knows
run.
his theology.
Is Jesus fully
We
God
don't
or
say
not?
fully
Is
God.
he fully
We
God
say
or not?
truly God.
Don't run.
So Jesus
yes or no?
is truly God
yes or no?
in every
Yes or
way
no?
that God
Answer the
is.
question.
Jesus.
Also, guys, you're the theology guys. I'm not, but along those lines, if you say like a reluctance to say fully God, right? Because I mean, I would just be thinking in terms of, well, he also has a human nature. So is the human nature? If I say Jesus is fully God, would I therefore be calling his human nature fully God? If I'm just saying Jesus is
Right. That's where the
that's-
confusion could come in at. Yeah. Because if you say fully, you can be talking about, like I said, since it entails composition, we'd be saying, oh, all parts of him would be considered God. But since we say truly, that simply means that he has some nature that gives him those properties that allow him to be called God. But it doesn't know anything about the human nature.
okay. All right. Let's see Hijab thump his chest and then cry and run to Libiano.
Jesus
Jesus
is, he
fully God
possesses
or
all
not?
the essential properties to be God. Now deal with my
Is
position,
he
please.
fully God? Is Jesus fully
Please
God
deal with
or
my
not?
position, please.
Is Jesus fully God or
Please
not?
deal with my position.
Can I
Is
just
Jesus fully God or
I
not?
already answered you.
Yes or no?
Just waiting
I
on
just want to say, so we're also going to get into like the is of predication, is of identity, relative identity, things like that too. It's all going to come up later on. But before we even get there, I just want to point out, like, this is the script that Muslims have, right? And you see that Avery's deviating from the script. So he doesn't have like another move. Mohammed Hijab doesn't have another move. So it's like, if he doesn't answer this question the way that he wants him to, it's like he doesn't know what the next move is. So he's keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. So if you guys are talking to Muslims, just be prepared. They have a script most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time they have a script. And if you don't answer according to their script, they're going to get discombobulated, like we're going to see later on with Mohammed Hijab.
Yeah, like it was the same thing with Ali Dawa, and he's trying to give a contingency argument against the Trinity, but he couldn't decide whether he was going after the Trinity or the Incarnation, so he just kind of kept going back and forth and couldn't stay on track. But it was similar in that when God Logic would give an answer that didn't fit with the Dawa script, Ali Dawa was different. He wouldn't like demand assent. He'd just go on with the argument as if everyone had agreed with him or something like that, because he can't function without just sticking to the script. But let's see if Hijab is a little
the impossible
flexible.
existence for Ali
So deal
Dawah.
with my
Don't
position.
be scared now. Don't be scared
Deal with
now.
my
I know what
position.
you're gonna do.
Deal with my
Is
position.
Jesus fully God or not?
I want you to
Don't
notice here,
panic.
ladies and gentlemen.
Don't be scared.
This is how
Don't
you
be
know
scared.
someone.
Jesus-
By the way, we've pointed out on multiple previous live streams that the Dawa guys, because Sheikh Uthman's like this as well now. He won't debate on a neutral platform. He won't show up for any sort of public debate. He will only do live call-ins where it's him and like 4 other Muslims, and you can call into his show. So they want control of the mute button. They want control of the content, but also notice the comments they're putting up on the screen,
Yes,
right? They want control of that. They want control of that because they know their fans are dumb enough. They're not following a discussion about identity and Leibniz and Peter Gates. They're not following any of that. They can't. 40 generations of first cousin marriage prevents them from understanding any of this. But if they just see, oh, God Logic panicking, oh, God Logic dog Logic getting dog walk, ho, 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 then they're like, oh, well, God Logic must be getting smoked. And so they want that advantage, but they've given up on any sort of neutrality in debate now. And it gets worse because not only did Hijab demand like every advantage in this situation, he can bring up people. He's sitting there with someone else. He controls the comments. They control the mute button. They control all of this. That wasn't enough. Now he had to like copyright strike everyone who starts quoting it. So
Yeah, I think Nick can testify, but then we know they kicked you off, but they also muted you, right?
Yes, they
During
muted
this-
me
yeah,
bro,
so
when
there you
while I
go.
was on the live. Yeah.
see that, guys? That's why they are backing so far into a corner and scared to death. It's just pathetic, and it's only getting worse, guys. Let's see.
Fully God or not?
They have to
Don't be
stick to the
scared.
script,
Is he
because
fully
once you
God?
take them off their script, they are
Yeah.
cooked,
Breaking
they're
it down.
shredded, they don't know where to
Is
go.
Jesus fully God?
They don't know where
Yes
to go.
or No. Is he
Already
fully
answered
God
you on
or
that.
not?
Asked
Yes or
and
no?
answered.
What is it?
Asked and answered.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Thank
Let me change it because you're not.
Don't
you're
ask
not
me to
gonna-
think.
Yeah, like I mean, think about this. Like he's saying, here's my position. Here's what I'm saying. If you have an objection to that position, show me what the objection is. He's like, no, you have to say this. He's like, but that's not how I talk, and that's not how what the creeds. So I'm saying this. Respond to this. No, I want you to say this. It is. He needs it. He needs it for his little script. You know what it reminds me of? I've seen it like hundreds of times. You guys ever seen that little script with supposedly a dialogue between a Christian and a Muslim, but Muslims post it in the comment section over and over again? Muslim, who is God? Christian, Jesus, Muslim, and who is the father of Jesus? Right? And they go, and it's like, that's not. You're not giving actual Christian answers. You guys made up a conversation, but imagine someone like, oh, this is my script. And then you go up to a Christian, hey, who is God? And they say, oh yeah, the triune God of scripture. Okay, just say Jesus. Just say Jesus. Just stick with that. It's like, well, no, if you ask me who God is, the triune God of scripture. No, just say Jesus. That I need it. I need it for my little script to work. This is weird, man. That was weird.
You're gonna tell us if Jesus is fully God or not. All right, no problem. No problem. You run away from that
Truly
one. No
God,
problem. No
and
problem.
he
No problem.
possesses
No problem.
all the essential
No problem.
properties
No
that
problem.
make God God.
Okay, so when you say Jesus is this statement true or false? Jesus is God. Is it true or false statement?
That's a true statement.
Okay, okay, excellent. Jesus is God is a true statement, right?
I just said that.
Yeah,
Look at that
great. No
text.
problem. Is that is of predication or identity?
It'll be a predication.
Okay, so it's predication, is it? So he has the quality of being divine.
Yep.
He has the description of being divine.
Yep.
Okay, so that means to say that the Father has this quality, the Son has this quality, and the Holy Spirit has this quality.
They all have the essential properties. They all have the divine essence. They
Essential?
are all God by essence.
No problem. So they all have the quality of being divine, yeah?
They all have the nature.
Oh,
of
okay, beautiful.
divinity.
And do they have a will?
Yeah, they have the same will because will is will is a faculty of your essence.
Oh.
So
Oh,
yeah,
wait
they
a
have the
minute.
same
Wait a
will.
minute. Wait, hold on for a second. So they have the same will, do they?
That's what I said.
So is the will predicatively, okay, does God the Father have the same will in a predicative sense as God the Son?
Why would you say in a predicative sense? What do you mean by that?
Because you're mixing between Latin Trinitarianism and three self-Trinitarian, social Trinitarianism. You're mixing
Can you explain
between.
that?
Yeah, let me explain. Let me explain this to you, right? Is if you're saying that the Father is God from a predicative perspective, yes? If he's God from a predicative perspective, that means he has a center of consciousness which is different from the Son. Is that correct?
Based on what?
Because you've just said it's predicative, it's not identity, is it?
Yeah. So how does it follow that?
Do you understand the
If
words
he's
I'm
God,
using? or not?
just-
What's that?
It's funny how he says you don't understand the words I'm using. He doesn't understand the words he's using. He's saying because you said the Father is God predicatively, that means that there's different centers of consciousness. Well, he doesn't know what it means. Predication means then. All it means, predication means, is that you're predicating some properties on the person, and that's why that they're God, specifically in this view. And so when he's saying in a predicative sense, he's just saying all he's saying here is that they all have the same set of essential properties predicated to them all. It has nothing to do. Like I don't even know where he got centers of no. Like Christians don't even really use the word centers of consciousness. We say minds, and so there's one mind in the Trinity. And so I don't know where
I can
he's
tell
getting
you where
this.
I can tell you where he gets this stuff. He gets it from Dale Tuggy. That's where a lot of these guys get it from. He has his own view of what Christians are saying or not saying, and he always pigeonholes different Christian models and stuff into his way of viewing it. But that's where I hear a lot of that language.
Yeah, I think he just got fed a script and then didn't really understand the words. So now that's why he's
Exactly.
stumbling over his words. And a predicate, like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. Now, saying Tuggy, I don't necessarily mean he's reading Tuggy. I wouldn't accuse
He's not
Hijab of
reading
reading
anything,
anything.
probably. Yeah.
But he may the results of it, right? So listening to somebody like Jake or somebody else.
Yeah, other people are
That
getting
listen to
things
Tuggy.
from people like Dale Tuggy, and then they run with it
Right.
because they can't seem to come up with their own arguments. They always have to be copying someone else. I mean, they can't even defend the existence of God without going to Christian philosophers. Wild stuff.
So to
I
be
was
clear,
thinking-
I wasn't accusing Hijab of reading anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, good.
You
Except for
still got
script.
your street cred. You still got your street cred, Hijab. We don't think you read anything.
So maybe one of you guys can break down the differences between the different types of is. Wasn't it one of the U.S. presidents who was like, "What do you mean by is?" So you can maybe
that's Clinton.
explain. What,
That was
Clinton,
Bill
right?
Clinton.
Yeah. That was Dale Tuggy. Yeah.
Hey, how cool would it have been? How cool would it have been if Clinton had been like, that all depends on what your definition of is. I mean, are you talking about the is of identity or just the is of predication? Which one is
That was
it?
basically what he was getting at.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
So the point is that you can use is in different senses, but maybe we guys can use an analogy so people can understand better. Like, what is an is of predication? What is an is of identity?
If you say is of identity, that would be along the lines of, I mean, you don't want to say like Jai is Jai, although that would be identity, but it would not be informing of anything. If you wanted to say Superman is Clark Kent, you're saying they're the same. You're saying they're the same thing. You're saying the same thing. Whereas if you say, Anthony Rogers is a human being, then that's predication. There, you're not saying he is. Like everything that can be said about Anthony can be said about human being in general or something like that. So anyway, you guys want to add anything to that?
Yeah. So also when we'll see that logic actually uses two different views here. He uses both the is of identity and predication to show how both can work. And so you'll see later on he also uses the is of identity, which he's going to be using what's called relative identity, which basically, like in a short summary, just means that something can be the same in one way yet distinct in another way. And so if we say then that Jesus is God, is an is of identity, but what we mean by that is using something called relative identity. We're saying that the Father and the Son are identical in their essence, and so they're relatively identical, but they're distinct in their personhood. So that's the sense in which they're distinct. So what Hijab, the error that he makes, which you'll see later on, is he thinks that if you say something is the same or identical with something else, that the only way that can be the case is if they're absolutely identical, which means identical in every way. But that's simply not true. We know that identity can be used relatively. Something can be identical in one way and distinct in another. I'll give you an example. And this, again, is not an analogy for the Trinity. I feel like I always have to do this because the Muslims like to clip things.
No,
It's
you,
not an
you
analogy
have
for
to
the
do it.
Trinity.
You have to do it. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you have to. This because they can't comprehend. This is an analogy for
He
relative
said the
identity.
Trinity's like a donut. Oh my goodness.
I swear to goodness. So for example, if you have like a Lamborghini, right? If you have a Lamborghini Huracan and a Lamborghini Aventador, right? We can say that they're relatively identical. So a Lamborghini Huracan and a Lamborghini Aventador are absolutely identical in their brand. There's no distinction between that, the fact that either one's a Lamborghini. It's the same exact brand. There's no difference. But they're a different model. A Huracan is a different model than an Aventador. So they're going to be identical in one way and distinct in a different way. And that's going to be relative identical. A relative identity, how something can be identical in one way yet distinct in another.
Yeah, no, the normal examples from back in the day would involve, especially if you wanted to say that something is like the same substance, and it would be like this lump of bronze or something like this, and then you could turn it into a statue, and you could say, well, it's the exact same lump of bronze, but it's not the same statue because it wasn't. Matter of fact, you could start with one statue, and then melt it down and turn it into a different statue. And you can say, well, it's the exact same lump of bronze and a different statue. And so, guys, that's kind of that's one of the traditional examples of like relative identity. It could be the same thing in one way and something distinct in another way. So keep in mind, guys, I'm not familiar with, I haven't followed the debates over
Are you saying the Trinity is a lump of clay?
Yes, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I haven't followed the debates as far as applying this to the doctrine of the Trinity, but just you can kind of see why this would be useful in discussions of the Trinity. But let's see what happens here.
I don't think you do. If Jesus is God by predication, just real quick, if Jesus is God by predication because he derives the divine essence from the Father, just let me finish, bro.
I don't understand.
Why you get so uncomfortable? Why you get so uncomfortable? You don't even understand the questions you're asking.
If Jesus fully God,
if Jesus, because he derives his source from the Father and the divine essence of the Father, and so therefore is predicated the divine essence, how does that entail or conclude that he has a different will than the Father?
Separate center of consciousness to the Son or not?
Correct. Why? Why? I don't understand that.
What do you mean? Why?
They have the same mind and will, brother. They have the same center of consciousness. Same mind and will.
They have the same mind. They have the same will.
Yes.
Do they have the same essence as well?
That's what I said. How many times you asked me the same question?
Okay, no problem. They have the same mind. They have the same will. They have the same essence. Do they have the same attributes?
Yes.
Aha. So now you've moved to is of identification because identity. Because now, actually, if they're the same in essence and the same in mind and they're the same in consciousness and the same in will and the same in attributes, that means that they're one and the same person, aren't they?
No, there's a relative identity. They're identical in essence, but they're not identical. There's a distinction in their personhood.
Wait, hold on.
He just said if you have the same. Did Hijab just say if you have the same attributes, then they'd be identical? Because you could have other kinds of distinctions than having the same attributes.
This is why I said he's conflating identity with only absolute identity. So he thinks that when logic says that they're identical or they have the same attributes, that it means every single thing about them is the same, when that's not what he's saying. But he thinks that there's only absolute identity.
Yeah, so guys, I mean, think, going back to Nick's example of the Lamborghini, imagine you had two completely identical Lamborghinis in terms of all of their characteristics and features and attributes and so on. Same exact model, same color. Let's assume you even put the exact same serial number by accident on the two Lamborghinis. Would you say, since they have all the same characteristics and everything else, that therefore it's the same Lamborghini? It's just one Lamborghini. Well, no, but that's what Hijab just said. So yeah. Notice if you could have those two Lamborghinis and they could have all the same features and be exactly the same in every way, and yet there's still a distinction between them. In that case, like a spatial distinction, but it's not the same thing. And they would have been made kind of either at different times or at the same time, but in different different spots and so on. So anyway, it's yeah. He
and not
doesn't know
to
what he's talking
mention too, he's strawmanning Logic, because Logic already explained. He said what all their same attributes are of their essence specifically. He's already said that the persons are distinct. They have distinct properties of their personhood. He already said the Son is derived from the Father, right?
that would be a distinction. That would be a meaningful distinction. Exactly. That is you can have all the same attributes and yet have that distinction. And so there would be the distinction. All right, Hijab, absolutely. You don't know what you're talking about. You're a terrible philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
Get your money back for your degrees, man. Then you can pay off Douglas Murray.
Notice how he gets like so offended too when Avery's suggesting. Well, he's not suggesting. He's actually accurately stating that Mohammed Hijab doesn't know what he's talking about. He's so offended by that. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like his ego is so small, is so fragile, and you're going to see that more and more throughout.
That's typical of narcissists. They just lose their minds if you, especially if you accuse them of not knowing what they're talking about.
This doesn't work.
What was that whole
what's that?
whole bit there about his screen going black? I'm just wondering because they put up a little thing here, the comment that says he's getting help from Discord. Right, we can see Avery, we can see everything he's doing. I mean, obviously we can't tell if he's looking at a screen or something, but what's the need for Hijab's screen to go dark? Unless I don't know. I mean, obviously it could be an accident, but
or if they were pulling something up and
yeah. Showing him something, putting something in front of his face.
Let's see.
This argument probably worked back in 2017.
Wait, hold on. Let me take it step by step.
Go ahead. Take it
He just said, "Hey, Hijab, 2017 called. They want their argument back, buddy."
step by step. We're going to dismantle this step by step.
Don't pretend that Christianity has not been struggling with this for
It has.
2,000 years.
This argument.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, we've just been pretending.
So easy to handle.
We've just been looking at different things. There's different models. If you write now the Trinity on Stanford Encyclopedia, you'll see Latin Trinitarianism, social Trinitarianism. There's views of this.
This is hilarious because the article in the Stanford Encyclopedia is by Dale Tuggy.
Oh,
That's insane, actually.
Yeah, it is. That's wild. Let's see.
You mentioned relative identity. Do you know who mentions that relative identity?
I don't care.
Who's written? Peter Geach has written about it recently. Actually, relative identity.
What?
Actually,
what does this have to do with? What does it have to do with?
It's with this and the Sapiens.
What does that have to do with my argument?
Anyway,
are you about to refute Peter Geach or something, or
you don't know what he says? What does he say? What does Peter Geach say?
I just asked you if you're going to. Are you?
What does Peter Geach say? If you're talking about relative
care.
identity, what does Peter Geach say?
What is my position?
What is Peter? You said relative identity, so I want to know what Peter Geach said.
So in regards,
did Hijab just say Peter Geach recently said?
Recently, I was hoping someone else would catch that. It was like 80 years ago or something.
really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's also he also died. He also died earlier. He also died earlier in this century, and he was almost I think he was almost 100 years old. But he was old, man.
Yeah.
Oh, so if you want to talk about recent people, maybe you would say like, I don't know, Joshua Sajwadi or something, maybe, right? Recent people.
He don't even really use relative identity that much. But
he's writing about it, right?
I mean, I don't because you can tell that he just heard this name and then he was, I guess, hoping in the back of his head that he was more recent, but.
People
trying to flex too. He's trying to flex too. And by the way, this is a deflection, by the way, as well. He's just trying to like make it seem like he's the one that's knowledgeable, and the other person, the interlocutor, doesn't know.
I will give the name Peter Geach, and then my viewers will say, "Wow, he knew the name Peter Geach." When I don't even know who it is. I don't even know who it is, and someone just put it on the screen for me. Yes, Peter Geach. Oh.
Yeah, anyone can do this. By the way, this is just like a trick. It's like a magic trick or something. You know, it's like it doesn't mean anything. Anyone can kind of like flex some knowledge, or I'm not even saying Avery doesn't know, but he doesn't want to engage because it's not relevant to the discussion at hand. But if you want to do that kind of thing to somebody, it's easy to do. It's like a cheap trick, you know. Cheap.
Yeah. By the way, I pulled it up. Dale wrote the article on Unitarianism in the Stanford Encyclopedia, the article on the Trinity in the Stanford Encyclopedia, and the history of Trinitarian doctrines in the Stanford Encyclopedia.
I didn't even know that, but that's crazy. They're having a Unitarian write about Trinitarianism. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild. Let's see.
Are you refuting the Trinity?
No, you said relative identity. That's associated with Peter Geach. Do you know what he said?
I don't care who it's associated with.
So you don't even know what you're talking about, do you?
If I hold the position of relative identity, hold on. If I hold the position,
wait a minute. Okay, so anyone can just name any theory right now, and let's just say, like, if you don't know who's the person who wrote about that theory 100 years ago, it means you don't know what you're talking about. Does that follow?
No, like and I mean, he's also really stupid. It's like logic is associated with Aristotle, right? Aristotle invents logic as a field of study, right? He noticed that people kind of use similar argumentation patterns and stuff like this, and he starts formalizing them and stuff. That doesn't mean that like everything you say about logic has to be Aristotle's position. Almost, I mean, like logic kept developing. And people would, come up with more argument forms and different kinds of logic and stuff. So just imagine saying, "Hey, I'm arguing logic. Oh, well, logic is associated with Aristotle. So, do you see this in Aristotle? Is Aristotle supporting your view? Yes. Did you even know about Aristotle? Yes. Yeah. It's like stupid.
You can learn relative identity up and down and not read a lick of Peter Geach. Peter Geach is just the one that really came out with it, made it famous.
He sets things off. He makes it a topic of discourse in philosophy. But you have relative identity theorists who would disagree with Peter Geach on all kinds of things. So
because there's relative identity theorists who believe that relative identity is the only type of identity can be used, and absolute identity, things like that, can't be used, and there's some that do. And so it just depends.
Relative identity. What is your argument against it?
Do you hold the position of relative identity? Do you or not?
How many times you could ask this question?
So if you hold the position of relative identity of Peter Geach, my response to it is the following. My response to it is, in order for you to come to that conclusion, you have to have a relative identity framework. And the relative identity framework goes against predicate and propositional logic. And in particular, it goes against Leibniz law, which means that in order for you to prove the Trinity, you have to allow contradictions. Do you agree?
There's a lot to unpack with what he just said. But first he said,
and little side note, he's reading right off the screen because I can tell, because when he gives a reference for something and he obviously didn't remember the volume and page number and stuff like that, he's looking at the same spot. So people are feeding him stuff, which is hilarious because that's what they accuse God logic of.
So he said. First of all, he said relative identity goes against propositional logic. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean, because if anyone watched, if you went out and you watched my debate that I did with Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, I actually put relative identity into a model using symbolic and propositional logic, and he admitted it was consistent. So his boy Jake disagrees with him on this, that it goes against that, number one. And then he said it goes against Leibniz law. It definitely doesn't. This is something I mentioned earlier, where I told you guys that he believes that Leibniz law necessitates absolute identity, which is false. If you guys don't know, in the comments, Leibniz law is that basically that if something is the same as something else, they must share all the same properties. That doesn't necessitate absolute identity, though, because they can be the same in one set or in one sense and share all the same properties in that set. And then they're relatively identical. So we can use relative identity for Leibniz law too. But he doesn't know that, of course, because he hasn't actually studied this.
Do you agree with that?
No. Can you?
You have to reject propositional logic.
I disagree with you.
Reject classical logic.
Hold on.
Yes or no?
What is Leibniz law?
It's the law of identity.
No. It's a specific
Yes,
law of
exactly.
identity. Can you tell me exactly what Liban's law?
Dude, this is just like insanely stupid. Like
Wait.
you have to reject propositional logic if you affirm relative identity.
And he said Leibniz law was the law of identity. They're completely different things.
Yeah, which is laughable. David was just talking about Aristotle. Did Aristotle not know what the law of identity was? Leibniz hadn't come around.
This is horrendous. Like it just keeps getting worse.
Yeah, it's a law of identity.
What's
But he's got 6 degrees though. He's got 6 degrees in all these languages, and he's the teacher, and we're the students.
He's reading off the screen here.
specific
Yeah.
law of identity is it? Because there's subcategories. There's categories within the law of identity.
No, no.
So what does Leibniz law say?
Wait, do you want me to teach you what the law of identity is? Is that what you're asking me?
No, I want you to. This is what we're gonna do because it seems that you don't know.
No, you didn't know anything about
What
anything. Please
exactly
don't pretend
is
you know anything
Leibniz
about
law
anything.
and
You
identity?
didn't even know that relative identity was connected.
What
to
is
Peter
Leibniz?
Geach.
Because you said
didn't
Leibniz
even-
law. What is
You
that?
don't understand. You don't even understand.
Saying I don't
that-
understand doesn't mean anything.
Hold on, Avery. You didn't even know that relative identity was associated with Peter Geach.
That had nothing to do with the argument.
Yeah, completely irrelevant, right? You could Nick already pointed out, you can study and learn about and use the concept of relative identity without having any clue who Peter Geach is. Just like you can use logic and you could have never heard of Aristotle ever before. You can still use logic. Are you stupid, Hijab?
Yes.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with the argument. My position is relative identity. What is your argument against my position?
Yeah.
So you said Leibniz law. So what is Leibniz law of identity? What is it?
Sure. Hold on.
All right, we're waiting.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm waiting for someone to put it on the screen. Hang on. You have to give them time.
Because I swear he's doing that. But then the only thing that makes me doubt is what he's about to say is wrong. And we'll see.
Oh, it's going to be stupid. Hang on.
It could have been Ali Dawa feeding him the answers.
Yeah. Saying someone's putting something on the screen for him does not necessitate that this person is really, really smart.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's probably Libiano feet, like
A is X and B is X. It follows A is.
Finish it.
You tell.
Did you just say if A? Holy my goodness, guys! Did you hear that? If A is X and B is X, that what he wants to say. Therefore, A is B. That's completely idiotic, right? This cat is a mammal. This dog is a mammal. Therefore, this dog is the cat. No, it doesn't work like that. Are you stupid, Hijab?
Well, what he's confusing it with is the law of transitivity. That's what he's not talking about Leibniz law right now. He's talking about the law of transitivity, but he's actually doing it wrong. Law and transitivity is typically seen as if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And so he's mixing up Leibniz law and the law of and like a weird version of the law of transitivity, which is hilarious. So he just proved right here he actually didn't even know what the Leibniz law is in the first place.
And he's thumping his chest. Oh, I'm your teacher. I'm your teacher.
If the Father is God,
don't tell me to tell you.
If the Father is God and the Son is God, it follows what?
Answer. You do it. Tell us.
The Father is the Son. It follows the Father is the Son.
So what? Okay. What category?
Are you okay? Do you understand?
Category of the law of identity
you believe
is
that the
Leibniz
Father is
law?
the Son? Do you believe that the Father is the Son?
Okay. Let me help you
the
out.
Father is the Son?
No, I don't. So let me help you out.
don't believe in the
Let
Father
me
is
help
the
you
Son?
out. This is your blunder because you don't even know what Leibniz law
Did the
is.
Father beget
So
himself?
Leibniz law
Did the
is
Father
the
beget
category.
himself?
He says
the Father beget
that his
himself?
law of identity is called absolute identity. Means that you have to be absolutely identical in every way, in every sense.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
and guess what? There are philosophers who do, like Peter Geach and others, who do not hold to absolute identity. And so we can keep going with examples. So absolute identity is not the consensus. There are philosophers that disagree with it. Wait, hold on.
Avery, let me teach you this.
So what you need to do is prove that Leibniz law of identity, absolute identity is the necessity.
Let me respond to you, okay, and let me teach you because this is something.
Go ahead. Teach us why Leibniz law is a necessity.
Listen, Avery, have some respect because listen, I've done 6
Have
degrees.
some
Yeah?
respect.
6
You hear this? Have
That's
some
rich coming
respect.
from him.
We just made a post a little while back calling your wife a whore. Show some respect. I sit here and insulting you the entire time, saying, "Oh, you don't have the degrees." In which case, why should anyone listen to my illiterate prophet? But yes, show some respect.
Right.
Joke, man. Total narcissist.
Oh yeah. By the way, we're advising all Christians whenever you guys come across people like this, just say, okay, that's cool. I don't want to tell you my degrees, or let's say I don't have degrees. Just call me the unlettered Christian. That's cool.
Unlettered Christian.
I'll
the
take
unlettered.
that.
The
And
unlettered
then
Christian.
if they want to insult you, they're insulting their prophet.
Yeah.
Degrees of 15
I'm
years
trying to
university.
get. I'm trying to. I'm
Oh,
trying to
wait, go
respect you,
back.
but
Listen,
Go back a little bit. He's about to flex his degrees again.
Let's see. I backed it up for this.
there are philosophers who do, like Peter Geach and others, who do not hold to absolute identity. And so we can keep going with examples. So absolute identity is not the
for you to
consensus. There are
abandon,
philosophers
you have
that
to
disagree with it.
understand,
Wait,
Avery,
hold on.
Avery, let me understand. Let me teach you this.
So what you need
Please
to
let me
do
teach
is
you this.
prove
Allow me
that
to respond.
Bible
Allow me-
of
let me
identity,
respond.
absolute
Let me
identity is the
respond.
necessity.
Let me respond to you, okay, and let me teach you because
Yeah,
this
go
is
ahead.
something.
Go ahead. Teach
Listen, my
us
friend,
why
with
life
all
and
due
law
respect-
is a necessity.
Hey, there you have it. Hey, Nick, right there, man. He's looking down at
I get-
Discord. Look at his eyes. Nick is helping him. I think they mean you.
I
Oh.
feel like I should take this as a compliment, though, to be honest. If he's doing so well that they think it's because I'm helping him, wow, I guess I must be good.
Yeah, guys, if someone says,
Oh.
hey, there's no way you could be giving these answers without being about reading them, you're kind of complimenting the answers, right? There's no way God logic could come up with this response. It's impossible. He must be getting it from somewhere else.
He's cooking.
Notice the inconsistency though, because on the one hand, they're pretending like he's making no sense and all the rest, and then they're turning around and saying he's getting these profound answers. And that's what that's the idea, right? They're not just saying he's getting answers. They're saying the reason he's got these apt answers for these questions.
That's crazy though. It also shows that Nick's living rent free in a lot of these Muslims' heads because you haven't even come up at this point yet, right? So
I have
you
not,
like there's
no.
no context for them to bring you up other than just the content matter that they associated with you. So
Yeah.
that's how it is. Yeah.
I must be known as the guy to the Muslims, man. I don't know.
Were you in the chat at this point, Nick?
No, I hadn't even commented. All I was doing was live streaming this. We were watching it on my platform. That was it. Like having
these guys don't
commented
even-
not once, like nothing.
Yeah, so they're coming up with your name apart from you having put in an appearance yet.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Listen, Avery, have some respect because listen, I've done 6 degrees, yeah, 6 degrees of 15
I'm
years.
trying to
university.
get. I'm trying
Don't
to
ask me
respect you,
questions.
man. But
Listen, don't-
Avery, have some respect. I've done 6 degrees, and my prophet did 30 men of al-Dhut.
talking, you're showing that you don't know.
Wait,
You got degrees.
part of what I heard when I heard the portion I did was towards the beginning when Hijab was trying to set it up and brought out all his degrees, and then Avery had the perfect response. Well, obviously, then you should be able to handle me easily. If you can't, then But yeah, if I never heard him or somebody else say what his degrees are, I'd never assume that Hijab had any degrees.
Yep.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean. I don't think I'd ever think that.
No,
I've never
and,
taken him as
yeah. Since he
profound.
doesn't seem to know much, it's like I don't know. Maybe he's paying someone. Maybe he's paying someone to write his stuff for him or something like that for papers and stuff. I don't know.
And by the way, the same is true with Arabic as well. Whenever he cites Arabic, whenever he cites the Quran in Arabic, it's like below your average Arab, just going by memory. Like maybe they learned some in school, or they didn't even go to special school for it or anything like that. He's so sloppy with Arabic. He like mixes words, he switches things up. It's really, really bad, but you can't tell unless you understand Arabic. But everything he does is like subpar, but he's claiming to have all these degrees, and he's like he even comes up with a degree from Al Azhar as well, which
And that
if that's true, they really gone down in their reputation a lot, standards a lot.
That's actually a good parallel, though, right? Like when Hijab is spouting Arabic, if you don't know Arabic, you think, oh, he really knows his Arabic, and oh, he's pulling
Yeah.
rank, and oh, he's flexing with his Arabic. Wow, this guy is the true master of Arabic. But if you know Arabic, because I see you and Giant, you and DOC, and you're like, no, he got this wrong, and oh, this was the wrong word, and oh, that's not even in the Quran. What's this guy reciting? And so, but it's the same when he's like talking about philosophy and stuff. If you don't know anything about philosophy, oh, look, Hijab, he's so strong. Look how forceful he is. He's insulting him. He must know. Whereas if you're listening to him, dude, what did you just say?
College you made up or
Don't
something.
ask me trivia questions. Don't ask me whatever questions.
It's a trivia question now.
This is no,
You
no,
didn't even
hold
know
on,
what Ivan's law was.
Hold on. Let me finish.
It's not that I don't know. It's that no one has put it on my screen for me yet.
This is an education. And it's a free one. Okay, so just have some respect. Okay, and I'll teach you about.
You didn't know what Ivan's law was.
What'd you say, Anthony?
I said, well, he said you're getting a free lesson. I said, then he's getting his money's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean? I've written a whole chapter on Leibniz.
So then tell us, what does he state? What is his law?
I've read. Give me one book that Leibniz wrote.
No,
one
see,
book.
there's
By the
another
way,
No, no,
debate.
give me one book that Leibniz wrote.
We're gonna
He said I wrote a whole like segment or whatever on Leibniz law in my PhD. I assume he was about to say dissertation, but I don't think he has a dissertation anywhere. We were talking about this the other day. I don't think he has one.
No, he doesn't. He
Don't even know
says
he's
he's a PhD candidate. That's how he titles it on his website.
So then he hasn't done a dissertation, so I don't know where he's saying he wrote on
he
this
could be
from, but
like
it's not public.
he could be working on one, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, he said he wrote it. He said he did already. Like I don't know. Like we know we're supposed to know that or something.
Yeah, right. Like we all just like know that he wrote about it. Hey, look at my chapter. How do we have
I hope he
access
didn't
to
write
it?
about it. He doesn't need to fail that dissertation.
One book that Leibniz wrote. Give me one book that Leibniz wrote.
Tell
Give me
us
one book that
what
Leibniz wrote.
Leibniz
Give me
law
one book that
exactly
Leibniz
is.
wrote.
If I was
Give me
wrong,
one book that Leibniz wrote.
Oh,
Give me one book
this
that
is
Leibniz
another
wrote.
thing that it's not unique to Muslims, but because we debate a lot of Muslims, we see this with them a lot. If you quote let's say like a Tabari or like a Muslim scholar, oh, give me like 5 books that this person wrote. Tell me what they wrote. Tell me like what year.
Yeah, none of it is relevant. None of it is relevant. They're just trying to deflect from the actual arguments.
Yeah,
to something else.
Give me 3 books that Ibn Kathir wrote. Otherwise, you can't quote him. You can't quote his commentary. Just give me 5 books he wrote. It's like they always do that.
And it's weird. Like you kind of have to do it in reverse to them, so that they understand the point, right? It's like if you're talking to them and they go, oh, you don't even know Arabic and you're talking about this, you idiot, blah 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 blah. Then instantly, the moment they say anything about the Bible, they say, what's the Greek for that? What's that in Greek?
Oh, right.
Yeah. Until they, no, I don't. Suddenly they'll understand that you can make a point or have an argument without understanding the Greek. But so weird stuff, man.
doing the deflection.
One book.
The Muslim shuffle doesn't work. It doesn't work.
There you have it. So just be quiet.
Tell us
You don't know
what Leibniz law is.
You don't even know anything that he wrote. I've written.
So
chapters
tell
in
us.
books
Tell us
about
what his law is.
No, it's chapters, plural.
Shut up.
Tell us
what. Honestly, please. Leibniz law is.
I've written 17 books on Leibniz. 17 books I've written on him.
You can tell he got hit by Avery there. Rewind it a little bit. The look on his face changes.
Yeah.
The look on his face changes a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, it was pretty evident right there.
Let's see.
Another deflection.
Give me one book that Leibniz wrote.
We're gonna count how many times he deflects.
Give me one book that Leibniz wrote.
Tell us what Leibniz law exactly is. If I was wrong.
Give me one book that Leibniz wrote. Give me one book that Leibniz wrote.
Stop doing the deflection.
Repeat.
One book.
The Muslim shuffle doesn't work. It doesn't work.
There you have it. So just be quiet.
Tell us
You don't know
what Leibniz law is.
You don't even know anything that he wrote. I've written.
So tell us. Tell us what his law is.
Be quiet. Shut up.
Tell us what.
Honestly, please. Leibniz law is equivalent to the law of identity.
Look, man.
What are you doing?
And there he goes.
So it
again.
went from
Leibniz
he wrote
law
a
is
chapter.
equivalent to the law of
He
identity.
lost his poker face.
He wrote first. It went from I wrote a chapter. I guess this is not contradictory, but he said I wrote a chapter in my dissertation or my PhD dissertation, whatever he said, and then he said I've written chapters in books. But I guess it's not. I guess they both could be true. But where can we find your books, Mohammed Hijab? Where can we find the books you published? Like
I want to find any philosopher that agrees with him that the Leibniz law equals the law of identity. The same thing. I would love to see that.
Yes, so if they're the same thing, then they would have to be equal in all their properties.
All properties, huh? Yep.
And what you
Look,
are you done?
hey, look, I
It's
love
stupid.
how my food talks back to me, ladies and gentlemen. I love it.
Just like
I'm
Muhammad.
enjoying
You've
it.
run away. You've run away now
I'm
from
enjoying
the discussion, haven't you?
What do you mean? You're the only one acting
Is the
belligerent.
Father
here.
God? Is the Father God?
I already answered this. Can you tell us what Leibniz law is?
Do you want? Do I need to repeat myself for the fourth time? You don't even know who Leibniz
Hold on,
is.
get your thoughts
Repeat.
together.
You don't even know who Leibniz is.
What?
Who's Leibniz?
What?
What did he invent?
Look at all these
Who's Leibniz?
questions. We're gonna
What's his
count.
first name?
Hey, I
hold
was
on.
gonna help her.
What's
Make
his
sure
first
we
name?
count.
What's
We do a
his first
counter.
name?
How many
What's his
times
first
this
name?
dude deflects?
What's his first name?
What is
What's his
Leibniz
first
law,
name?
Muhammad?
Guys, do you understand this, right? Like, Mohammed Hijab, I want to debate the Trinity. And here he is. What's Leibniz's first name? What's his first name? What's his first name?
Who is his father? What was his father's name?
Yes, what
That's
did
the-
what did
that's the
his
next
daddy done? That hillbilly redneck, that bucktooth hillbilly redneck. What did his daddy done? Yeah, yeah.
one. Man.
And who do you think? Who do you think came up with calculus first, Leibniz or Newton? Yes. Oh, you can't answer. Yes. Then you see the Trinity fails. The Trinity fails. What a dope.
Job, since you brought it up.
What is his first name?
What is Leibniz law?
I've already explained to you. It's the law of identity. Are you
No,
dumb?
it's a category within the law of identity.
You're stupid.
What
You don't know what you're talking about.
specifically
Please be
is
quiet.
Leibniz law?
Please be quiet. It's the law of identity. It's the same as the law of identity. That's they call it Leibniz
No,
law.
okay,
The law
can
of
I- can I
identity
tell
is
you what he
Leibniz
says?
law.
Can I
Be
tell you
quiet
what he
now
says?
because you don't know what
So
you're talking about. You don't even know who
Can I
Leibniz
tell-
is.
You're saying that that's wrong. Muhammad Hijab is just wrong here. This is completely
Yeah, the
wrong.
law of identity is simply A equals A.
Yeah,
Something
guys.
equals
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, guys. You have two different things here, right? You have identity. That's the little equals sign. It with a specific meaning where it's identity is the relation that something has only with itself, right? Because something can have a relation to all kinds of other things. This could be the son of, this could be nearby, or so you can be related to other things in all kinds of ways. What is the relation that a thing has only with itself? So that would be identity, right? In the classical sense. So that's what identity is. Then you have what are called indiscernibles. If two things share all the same properties and stuff, can you tell a difference between two things, right? And if so, how are you telling the difference between two things? There has to be a difference, right? So you have these two different ideas, right? But if you sort of make a rule out of them, that if two things are identical, then they have all the same properties. Now you're making a law. But yeah, he's just saying the identity, the A equals A, is Leibniz law.
Okay.
completely
So
false.
give maybe like an analogy in like science or something. You have like a law, then you have theories to explain that law. Is this like just different models of how identity
These are
works?
two
or-
different
No,
laws.
Leibniz is putting together like identity with the idea of indiscernibles, if things having all the same properties and stuff like that, and coming up with a law out of it, right? Just A equals A. He's saying that's Leibniz law. That's
I see.
what Leibniz law is. Anyway,
You don't even know where he was from.
Can I
you
tell
don't
you?
even know what books he wrote. You
Look,
don't even know
don't
what
even
his
know where he
first
was
name
from,
was.
man.
I'll
You
tell
don't know
you, and you
anything
tell me
about
if I'm
him.
incorrect.
You don't know anything about him.
I'll tell you, and
Yeah?
you tell
I've
me if I'm
actually read
incorrect.
all of his books, by the way.
I'll-
Whoa.
he just said he
these
read
books.
all of Leibniz's books.
What does he have, like,
Ooh,
50
that's
books?
crazy, man. He's different.
Huh? He's special, man.
teach you tell me if I'm
Except
incorrect.
for the
okay?
calculus one.
I'll tell you if
All
I'm
the
incorrect.
philosophical books. I've read them all.
Listen.
Just be quiet. Don't talk about Leibniz with
Isma,
me, yeah?
Isma,
You're not in a
Isma,
position to speak
listen.
about Leibniz.
I'll tell
Gottfried
you.
Leibniz.
Look,
Yeah?
I'll tell you what his law
Wait,
is.
I got a prediction. If he lets Avery say what Leibniz law was, suddenly you'll hear Hijab repeating it. Something he hasn't been doing up to this point, right? So he'll know it. It's sort of like Muhammad, right? And Allah. Muhammad doesn't know that something's shirk until the Jews catch him short and say you're engaging in shirk. So Muhammad's one step behind the Jews. And then suddenly he gets a revelation from Allah saying the same thing. So Allah's two steps behind the Jews. So I'm predicting that if Avery gets to articulate what Leibniz said, suddenly Hijab will be free-flowing on that, which hasn't been the case hitherto.
Tell me
you don't
if
need to
it's
tell me
incorrect.
anything. You're not in a position
Okay.
to do so.
You tell me.
Now
if
the
it's-
question
if
is
it's
this:
incorrect.
Is the Father God?
Liban's law is that something is identical if and only if they are identical. They share all the properties. They are identical
okay.
in all of their properties. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're reading the AI overview, right?
I'm looking at you.
My friend is telling me all of no problem.
Is that correct or not?
My friend's telling me what? What does he mean? My friend's telling me. His friend's telling him what?
Good. Do you accept Leibniz law?
Is that
Do you accept
correct?
Leibniz law? Do you accept it or not?
Is that correct?
Yes.
So
Do you
I had to
accept it or not?
teach you on what Liban's law was. Thank you.
Are you? He's
All
a
right.
stupid guy.
So now-
are you all right?
He's your teacher, boy.
He's a stupid guy. He's a stupid guy.
So
Are you
now,
okay?
so now dealing with Liban's law. I don't hold to Leibniz
Is the
law.
Father
and
God?
so-
Is the
and
Father
so do
God
other-
from a Leibniz
and
law
other
identity
philosophers also reject Leibniz
Is
law of
the
identity.
Father God from a Leibniz law identity
From a
perspective?
Leibniz
Yes or no?
law identity, I don't hold to that. I don't hold to Leibniz law.
So you have to reject it, do you?
Yes, I don't hold to his
Yeah.
law.
So you have to reject Leibniz law, do you?
Do you,
have to-
you don't know where to go.
Wait, hold on. Do you accept?
You
Wait,
don't know
hold on.
where
What are
to
you
go
laughing
from
at?
here,
What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
I'm
Because
laughing because
this
you
is
don't
the
know where to
point.
go from here.
This
Your
is-
script was destroyed.
No, hold on.
Okay.
You're putting in a relative identity framework. What you don't understand is the following. What you don't understand is in order for you to put forward a relative identity framework, you have to reject Leibniz law. Leibniz law, or the law of identity, is in fact one of the three major pillars of propositional logic. You have three pillars of propositional logic. One of them is the law of identity. Yep.
By the way, look at him reading off the screen the entire time.
Yeah, but there he goes again, conflating it with Aristotle's three laws of thought. Right? Leibniz law is conflating here with A is A.
And he's sitting there reading off a screen.
The other one is the law of non-contradiction, and the third one is what? The law of excluded middle. These are the three principles of propositional logic. These are the pillars of it. Now, in order for you to make your case, what you're essentially admitting is the following: that in order for me to make a case for Jesus being God and in one sense, and Father being God in another sense, and the Holy Spirit being God in another sense, I have to reject one of the pillars of propositional logic. Propositional logic is the most foundational and accepted logic in the world for the last 3,000 years, 4,000 years. So you have to, do you accept that in order for you to try and justify a version of the Trinity, which is Peter Geach's one, which is repudiated by Christians themselves, that you have to accept a framework which rejects one of the pillars of propositional logic? Yes or no?
No. So can you demonstrate that?
No. But you just said you reject
Hold on.
I mean, he said, first of all, he blundered. He said that classical logic, if I heard it correctly, it sounded like he said classical logic been around for 4,000 years. Classical logic is typically seen as starting with Aristotle and then going through Frege. And Frege was one of the ones who was said to have started modern logic. That's where modern logic is seen as the starting point. And so to say it's been around for 3,000 or 4,000 years, like, I don't know how he's just making these things up like this.
Yeah, so Hijab.
Well, it's interesting. It'd be further interesting if he did have Aristotle in mind and was saying 3 or 4. In other words, doesn't even know when Aristotle lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, so apparently Aristotle lived between 1000 and 2000 BC, according to Mohammed Hijab. Dude, you don't even know when Aristotle lived. How are you arguing against the Trinity? You hillbilly redneck. You hillbilly redneck.
Well, they were using classical logic in 2000 BC. That's what I figured.
Yes, you see this. And yes, if Aristotle was 2000 BC and he was a student of Plato who learned from Socrates, and then when was Socrates? Was he 1,000,000 BC?
Hey, again, it's like the Quran. It's got Haman in Egypt, building the Tower of Babel.
It's got crucifixion in the time of the pharaohs in Egypt.
What's going on here?
Wild stuff.
Really quick. So I let you talk.
He said you don't hold to it.
I let you.
You said you don't hold to it
for a very long.
That's what
time.
you just said.
I let
you
you
don't
talk
hold to
for a
Leibniz.
very, very long time. So
You just said you don't hold to it.
Muhammad Hijab.
So God logic doesn't
I
believe
can
in
hold
logic.
the law
No
of
logic.
identity. Notice how you nervous
illogic.
you are.
You don't believe in
Notice
logic.
how
You
nervous
don't
you
believe in
are.
logic. So
Notice how
propositional
nervous
logic,
you
you
are.
don't believe in it, do you?
You can't even
In
allow me
order
to
for
speak.
you, in order
Look
for
at
you
this
to
guy, ladies and
justify
gentlemen.
the Trinity, you have
Let
to
me
reject
get
logic. I
loud.
agree.
Let me beat my chest instead of have a discussion. So relax, Habibi.
Respond.
I appreciate it.
Respond.
I don't have
I'm
to
waiting for your
hold to your
Do you
view
reject Leibniz? No, yes or no?
of Leibniz law in order to hold to the law of identity. The law of identity works with relative identity. I'm not rejecting the law of
No,
identity.
it doesn't. They
Okay?
actually don't.
So you
together.
can be identical in one sense
That's not true.
while
That's
having
not true.
distinctions in another.
No,
It's
that's
simple.
not how even. That's
Refute
not
me.
even how Peter Geach. That's not how he articulates it.
He doesn't have to adhere to Peter Geach. Thank you.
He says there's a sortal, and then he says that the sortal is represented by G, and then you've got F, and then you've got S, and you've got H.
He's definitely reading off the screen here because he has no clue what he's talking about.
Oh my goodness.
Father,
break
Son,
that.
Holy Spirit, and
What
then he
is
says
he-
that F.
Huh?
Um,
He's there. No, yeah, he's
sort
just
of-
reading straight off. He's just reading straight off a screen here.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
Is relatively identical to G, and the S is relatively identical to G, and the HS, which is the Holy Spirit, is relatively identical to G. He doesn't say what you're saying. He, in fact, rejects the law of identity,
Notice
which
how
is
he-
what you
notice how he
have to
turns
do.
his eyes
You have to
suddenly.
reject a pillar of
character.
logic.
I want to see that reflection in his glass, in his lens.
Well, it's just hilarious. You can see him reading, and then everyone's saying, "Ho ho!" Avery's just reading. He's just reading. It's like everything is. It's weird. Like you have all these guys who project, right? They're doing something, and then they accuse everyone else of doing it. But then you have the fans who Hijab is obviously doing something, and then they're accusing Avery of doing it. Like, is it a problem? Is it a problem? Is it a humiliation if someone does that? Because Hijab's doing this the entire time, guys.
I want so bad someone who's good with editing to zoom in on his glasses and up the quality and see if he really is like Jai said. Because I wouldn't be shocked if that reflection really is there.
ChatGPT, it'd be like Lily J reading ChatGPT. No, but if someone like in Avery's side like handed him a phone and he started reading from the phone, that'd be every Muslim we were talking about. That'd be clipped everywhere. But that's exactly what Mohammed Hijab did. Multiple times he gets a phone handed to him multiple times in the discussion. And but if Avery did that, someone like, let's say Life gave him a phone, we wouldn't be hearing the end of it.
Yeah,
Someone gave him a phone, he's cheating. Actually, Mohammed Hijab accused Avery of cheating. That's what he accused him of, and he accused him of cheating.
Yeah, and imagine not just someone handing you a phone and someone putting all the answers up on the screen because you don't know what you're talking about, but then like you just have to, I can't answer this, I have to call someone else.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he actually
You're
wrong.
Yourself God logic. You actually call yourself God logic, but you have to reject logic in order for you to make
He
some
doesn't have
sense
to
of the
reject
Trinity, don't
logic
you?
at all.
Yes or no?
No.
Is that true or wrong?
Again,
Is that
no.
right?
I'm sorry that the script didn't work. I'm sorry.
False.
I'm sorry.
Is that true or false?
That's false. That's false. I'm sorry that the script didn't work.
God logic.
What you have to
No,
do?
it's-
What you have to
it's
do?
very
Wait,
bad.
just 1 second, guys. Let me
Very
respond,
bad.
please.
It's very
Hijab,
bad.
1 second.
Guys, let me
He's
respond, please.
rejecting- Wait 1 second. He's rejecting logic so much. His recipe says reduce until thick.
No, but
Thanks for adding
lame.
nothing to the conversation.
Yeah, that was so lame.
Guys, I'm
Yeah, can you imagine this guy's like, well, I've just been sitting it. Was that Subhor?
Yeah.
Okay. So Subhor's sitting there the entire time and he's like, I've got such a great joke. I have to interject my joke here. I have to insert it like the men of Al-Zut into this discussion. And then he tells his stupid joke and it doesn't land. Come on, Subhor. You do better.
respond now, okay? I don't want us to talk over each other. Good job.
Do you reject the law?
Guys, this is weird. I invited Anthony to join us because I thought it was going to be like a serious discussion of the Trinity, and I thought we were going to be going through scripture and stuff like that. And not so much.
I heard that they got into history a bit. Is that true? You watched it, Jai. Did they discuss any history?
It's slipping my mind right now. I know that one of the highlights from this is they want to start talking about the Titanic. That's one of the highlights of this part of this section. When they talk about the Titanic.
Yeah, I saw everyone talking about that Titanic. What's the relevance there?
Logic was just giving an analogy for relative identity, so he was using the Titanic as that analogy.
That was one of the highlights here. So the history part, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's not coming. I don't remember.
I didn't see him talking much about history.
Let's see.
identity or not?
No,
Yes or no?
I don't. So Hijab,
You just said you don't hold to
can I
it.
please speak?
You just said you don't hold
Can
to
I
it.
please speak?
It's a contradiction.
Can I
Well, maybe
please
you reject that one
speak?
too. You might as well.
Can I
You might as well reject
please
the law of
speak?
non-contradiction. You've just rejected
So
one
notice
of the
how,
pillars
guys,
of logic. You might as well
again,
reject the
another
other one.
deflection, another interruption.
Reject the other one,
Bookster,
boy. Why don't
he
you
has
just
no
reject the
argument
other one,
against the
boy?
Trinity. His
Huh?
script is
Wow.
dismantled, has been intellectually molested, has been cooked and chefed and stirred up. And so this is where we're at. So allow me
I
to
think you know
respond.
now. I think the people can see.
So according
People can see, like,
to Mohammed Hijab's argument,
you know what the
you're
situation
trying
is
to
right now.
say
The people
that
can
in
see.
order
You
to
reject
accept
Leibniz
the
law,
law
do
of
you?
identity, that Leibniz
You
law,
reject or you
you're
accept
saying
it, boy?
absolute
You reject it or
identity
respect
is
it, or
necessary.
You accept it or reject it.
So since we're going to
boy?
spend 20
My
hours on
question
this,
is, you reject the law of
can
identity
you
or not?
demonstrate that Leibniz law necessitates absolute identity? Because that's what you're saying.
You don't.
You're saying that
It's not
absolute
stupid.
identity
It's just- you
is
don't
the
even know
law
what
of
you're talking about,
identity,
do you?
which I
Yeah, I
disagree
can
with.
actually.
You can still affirm
Yeah,
the law of identity while being relatively
That's
identical.
wrong. That's wrong.
While
Peter
having
Geach doesn't even say
distinction.
that.
For
Peter
example,
Geach doesn't even
notice how
say-
they're talking over me
Look,
still. Hijab,
Hold
please.
on. Peter
Can we
Geach doesn't
still-
even
can we
say
not
that.
talk over
Peter
each other?
Geach doesn't. Peter
Notice
Geach
I
doesn't
let
say
him
what-
speak, guys, and he has
Geach
to
doesn't even
interrupt me
say
and
that.
talk over me. This shows
After the Islamic dilemma debate, as much as I think it's a total punk move to file a copyright strike and stuff, I'm starting to get it.
Starting to
I
understand why,
can barely blame Mohammed Hijab at this point. Like, you know, he's got his followers who will just mindlessly go along with any idiotic thing he says because they don't know anything. They know literally nothing. They just listen to the chest thumping and side with their guy. They don't understand anything that's being said. They just, if me put comment attacking God logic, then Hijab put it on screen and then me show support. That's all they know. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
You don't want other people watching this, right? You just want your fans watching this. What's that mean? It means you don't want it on someone else's channel. You want your fans watching it. And all right, so I get it, Hijab. You sound like an idiot.
the weakness in your position, Hijab. Let me speak, bro.
Okay, should I give you 20 seconds?
Not 20 seconds.
seconds.
Just let me say my
I
piece.
just want to
and you're
comment
going.
on something I'm seeing in the chat. So I do agree that Mohammed Hijab, he says things that come off as really racist. People are saying that when he says boy, he's being racist, because I know, like, in America, in the South, that's a thing. But obviously he's from the UK. It doesn't have the same connotations there, but he is being racist in other ways when he's saying other things to him and just the way he's treating him. In fact, if you see how he treats Nick when he comes on, you wonder what the difference is, because he has a lot of respect
he
for Nick.
treats me like a king when I came
Yeah,
up.
yeah. So
Until
there's definitely racism there.
Started telling him, "Hey, kick him, do this, do that," and then he started just listening to everything Libiano said. I'm like, "Dang." What the heck?
Yeah, exactly. So Libiano's afraid of you. So he's afraid of Nick. But when Mohammed Hijab saw Nick, he's like, oh, he seems like a nice guy. Let's hear him out. Like, what's the difference between him and God Logic? Let's. So yeah, I think there's definitely undertones of racism there.
Say it, please.
Good Lord. Thank you. So here's an example. The Titanic, right? The Titanic, before it got shipped off, it's in perfect condition.
Did you see that?
What? See what?
Okay, I just saw something I didn't want to see, but
What?
I don't even know if I want to tell you to go back. Go back a little bit and look at Mohammed Hijab, what he's doing.
Oh, are you gonna say where he's flexing his chest?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen him do that. I've seen him
I
do
just
that. Whatever.
I just
He doesn't
noticed
have a
that
whole
when I
lot.
look, I'm like, oh, yo.
Yeah, I can
So-
actually.
You can still affirm
Yeah,
the law of identity
yeah.
while being relatively
That's
identical.
wrong. That's wrong.
While
Peter
having
Geach doesn't even
distinction.
say that.
For
Peter
example,
Geach doesn't even
notice how
say-
they're talking over me
Look,
still. Hijab,
Hold
please.
on. Peter
Can we
Geach doesn't
still-
even
can
say
we not
that.
talk over
Peter
each other?
Geach doesn't. Peter
Notice
Geach
I
doesn't
let
say
him
what-
speak, guys. And
Guys, if you didn't know anything else, but you understand like some basics of philosophy, him saying Peter Geach didn't even say that shows he has no freaking clue what he's talking about, right? You can affirm any position Avery is adhering to without agreeing with Peter Geach on everything. So, in other words, Peter Geach is not some standard that everyone has to agree with, even if you're talking about relative identity. But Hijab's acting like it is, and it's just like someone puts a name up on the screen. Gosh, this guy's dumb.
he has
Geach
to
doesn't even
interrupt me
say
and
that.
talk over me. This shows the weakness in your position, Hijab. Let me speak, bro.
Okay, should I give you 20 seconds?
Not 20 seconds. Just let me say my piece. And you can
go and say your piece. Say your piece.
Good Lord. Thank you. So here's an example. The Titanic, right? The Titanic,
there he was.
before it got...
Look at him. He's flexing his pecs.
I was going to say that's like somebody else we know, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that does remind me of someone else. But
He sees Libiano in the back, probably. You know.
But I mean, think about it. Like, even when he's, I'm not going to speak, he has to be trying to do something to distract people and get people to giggle and laugh and so on, so that they're not actually listening to what Avery's saying.
Shipped off. It's in perfect condition. No scratches, no bangs. You know, it's all good to go. Gets shipped off, crashes into the glacier, sinks, gets ripped up. Here's my question, Hijab. Here's my question, Hijab.
He's still doing
Is the Titanic that left the shore absolutely identical in every way to the Titanic that crashed into the glacier and is sunken? Is it absolutely identical in every way?
I wasn't hearing what you
Just
saying.
just another-
he's not even listening. He's trying to give you an example.
I was looking at myself in the reflection.
Yeah, hijab. So these are these are problems when you start making rules about identity, where you say, in order to be the same thing, you must be the exact same thing in every respect. And so you have all sorts of issues that can be raised. Avery's raising the issue of the Titanic. So sounds like he's just saying, okay, when the Titanic's all nice and new and shipped out, is that the same Titanic that's at the bottom of the ocean? Because if you take the two descriptions, they differ. They differ quite a bit. Like if you listed all the features and properties and so on, they differ quite a bit. Is it the same Titanic? Right? So you have tons of issues like that, right? So you have I think it's the ship of Theseus. That's where if you have a ship and you just start replacing boards, and then you eventually replace every single board in the entire ship, is it the same ship? You have things like that. And you can apply that to human beings as well, right? Like Mohammed Hijab. Is he the same Mohammed Hijab that he was 5 minutes ago? Well, guess what? Your body processes are going on. Cells have died and so on. I think it's like every 7 years, all of your cells, I think there's some neural cells that last longer and stuff like that. But basically all the cells in your body died and have been replaced every 7 years. And so are you the same person? You have all kinds of issues like that, which make people like try to come up with more precise definitions of identity and how something can be the same thing. But one of the directions people go with that is relative identity. That's one of the directions people go in order to account for these kinds of things. So anyway, Avery gave you an example, and so Hijab is going to have to say no. That Titanic at the bottom of the ocean is not the Titanic that left, because they don't have the exact same definition. They don't have all the same properties. Let's see.
Look, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even know what you're talking about. Listen, here's go back. Stop reading GPT.
This is what I'm reading,
GPT. This is the new generation.
And little side note, since this is the topic, like it kind of depends on how far you want to push things. Not in the zoot sense, but depends on how far you want to push things. Like, so an example like Superman is Clark Kent, and that they're the same person, the same being, and so on. You can actually come up with differences, like Clark Kent slouches and he's awkward and he fumbles over things, whereas Superman doesn't. He doesn't slouch. He stands straight up and stuff like this. He's not clumsy. Clark Kent is clumsy. So you can actually say different things about them. So what do you do with that with your definition of identity? Guess what? This is what philosophers deal with, right? Here's the definition. Okay, what about these things? And then they try to reconcile it in different ways. But anyway, you can't even bring up an example with Hijab. You can't pay attention. He's too busy flexing his pecs, and his stupid followers are too busy being duped by this idiotic nonsense.
Take care of their script. They don't know where to go.
Look at how stupid his followers are. Bro comparing his God to Titanic. Where did he compare God to a Titanic?
I mean, every time that we make an analogy for something like relative identity, any type of identity, we have to preface that it's not an analogy for the Trinity, because they automatically assume it is, because they don't have thinking processes.
Yeah. So, yeah, hijab. The level of stupidity, and that's central dawah. That's central dawah. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. He is a complete
Man.
idiot.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Central dawah. Okay. Yeah. So, guys, Avery was ready to talk about the Trinity. He's ready to talk about the Trinity. Hijab. No, you must agree with this definition of identity. And Avery, I don't know. I don't think I have to. And then hijab. No, you have to agree with this. And Avery simply points out one problem with him insisting on a particular view of identity. Hijab, according to what you're saying, you can't call that the Titanic, or you'd have to say they're two different Titanics. They're two different ones based on what you're saying. So he's saying, I'm trying to illustrate why other people have come up with different models of identity and different views of identity here. And he's calling his God the Titanic, so stupid, the stupid. And what they don't, and what's amazing is I guarantee you the chat, as far as the people who agreed with him, hijab, were like, yeah, great point, Central Dawah. You look like idiots to anyone who knows anything. You look like complete morons. And you seem fine with it, right? Like, hey, as long as we have our little group and we all praise each other for our brilliance, it doesn't matter how stupid we look to anyone outside the group. It's just like hijab. Now I'm going to copyright strike everyone. Okay, that may, your stupid fans may go, oh, yeah, hijab playing 4D chess by copyright striking them. Okay, everyone outside your group thinks you're a total coward and scumbag and liar. And what is it about Dawah that's like, all that matters is my little group of fanboys, and outside that group, everyone can think we're the most repulsive and stupid and idiotic people on the planet, and that's just fine. Well, great, because Dawah used to be focused on reaching non-Muslims with the message of Islam. You guys are completely sinking that ship.
Mm-hmm.
See what I did there? Dawah is like the Titanic, except it was never big and strong. That was pretty. Nice. That was pretty strong and base. Hey, one second. Someone needs attention here. Someone needs attention. Someone needs attention. Here we go. What's up, Issa?
How's it going?
Issa, as everyone knows, is Sufi Muslim, and so he saw his boy Hijab struggling a little bit, decided to come rescue him.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Oh.
Let's jump back into this.
I don't know where to go. Arguments are sinking, brother. That's the only thing that's sinking is your arguments. I don't even see your arguments. Listen,
okay, I know you don't. You're not up there yet to where you can understand the argument, or you can hear the argument. Answer the question.
And look, I have to say, by the way, what just happened there? That is proof Hijab has no clue what he's talking about, and that he's just reading off a screen. If he had actually studied identity, these are like the first things that come up. These are the first. These are the first issues with identity. Yeah, not necessarily the Titanic, but those kinds of examples, like, is person A the same person 5 minutes from now as he is now, and so on? Is a ship, if you've changed something? Because keep in mind, with like really, really strict view of identity, if I like cut my nails, am I the same person? Mm-hmm. Right? Because I'm not identical in every single way to me before I cut my nails, right? So that's kind of the issue. So Avery just points out like one example that's along the exact same lines as traditional examples. Hijab has no clue what he's talking about and can't even understand it. What's that mean? It means he's never studied this issue and he's just being fed stuff off the screen. Like indisputable proof.
What is the Titanic? I'll ask the question. I'll ask it again.
Is the Titanic that left the shore? Look at these guys. Look, absolute clowns. Is the Titanic that left the shore absolutely identical in every single way to the Titanic that crashed and sunk?
What?
He doesn't get it, dude. Again, if he's not familiar with these kinds of counterexample, he has not said. This is the first thing that like if you look up identity and stuff, you'll get A equals A and stuff like that, and then it's going to say, and here are some of the issues that arise, and these are the standard issues that arise. And so, how do you respond to them? He doesn't have any clue. He's never never heard of this before, which means he has never studied. He hasn't even gone to like a dictionary, like a basic dictionary philosophy, and looked up law of identity or Leibniz's law. He hasn't looked up any of that stuff.
I don't think he read any books by Leibniz, to be honest.
No, he
like
hasn't.
Hearing this, I would doubt it.
No, I don't think he would understand a sentence from Leibniz based on what I'm saying here. If you didn't understand Avery's example, you're definitely not understanding Leibniz.
Is it
There's
satanic that
actually a
left
critical
the
flaw
show?
in all of this that I noticed this because I actually was studying this before. He's a Salafi Muslim. His position is
No,
that
he's something else. What is he, guys?
What would he say? Athari, which is just does he? I've always thought he was a Salafi. He might
Yeah,
use
but
a different
does
term like
critique from
Athari.
view. Yeah, he critiques like, I guess what he would say would be hardcore Salafi views. He critiques those.
Yeah, because I know Salafis get mad at these guys for the things they say. Hijab and Ali Dawah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but if it's just a difference within Salafism, but
Like
I've
it's more like how
seen him in
extreme-
discussion with people where he would
Yeah.
affirm that Allah has eyes, hands, face, and that's literal. But then, of course, with the necessary follow-up, bila kayf, right? We don't say how.
Yeah.
But he may not go as far as some of them, unless he's changed. I mean, but I've heard him in discussions. I remember one guy came up to him in Speaker's Corner and was challenging him with respect to a particular view of Allah's attributes, and he got Hijab to admit, yes, this is the case, and it's literal, and so forth. And there were anyway, but I think there are people like Shamsi. I don't know if Shamsi's still around.
Yeah,
But
he is. Yeah.
Shamsi was a real hardcore Salafi, and I don't think he got along with them because I think some of the differences actually come down to, yes, he has these anatomical features, but not that one, right? So they're just kind of disagreeing on, I don't know, 6 toes or 5 on each foot.
It's oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah.
No, you might know more than I do at this point. I mean, last time I paid any attention to Hijab, I thought he was a Salafi.
I think he agrees with the theology, but he's more of like what they call like a Muslim Brotherhood kind of mentality, where like we're all kind of like we can all kind of like Daniel's perspective, where like I don't even think he goes after Shia that hard. Like he kind of wants to unite Muslims in a way, but I do think he has Salafi theology, but not when it comes to like their like takfiring and like excommunicating other Muslims. I think he wants to kind of maintain some sort of unity. But as it pertains to theology, I think he would hold to Salafi theology. But yeah, now I'm starting to. I'll think about it a little bit if I can. I don't know.
Yeah,
Now, what
maybe
were you
on
saying, Issa?
Akita then.
Okay.
So the issue of why I brought that up is if he's taking this position, if we look at earlier Islamic history, earlier on, particularly I would say more Sufi-ish Muslims or Sufi adjacent Muslims were okay with philosophy. They translated Greek philosophers. They were really okay with that. Then Imam al-Ghazali kind of comes on the scene and sort of like creates a critical analysis towards philosophy. He writes this treatise, The Incoherence of the Philosophers, right? So he kind of challenges philosophy. So al-Ghazali would probably be considered Sufi too, but he was more like, a conservative Sufi, where it's like, we have to stick with, these traditional sources. We can't really deviate. He kind of took this sort of position. So there was sort of this clash that we see at that time. So it's interesting to see, like, I've noticed this. It's very thematic. It's like the same kind of motif we see over and over again. I see a lot of these Muslim debaters imitating Christian debaters. It's not like their own authentic position. They're imitating the style, and they're saying, well, let me try to engage, kind of, European philosophy. Let me try to use these types of techniques. But they don't really understand it. And also their perspective technically rejects it. They don't actually believe in this system, but they're trying to imitate the system because it makes them sound like they're kind of legitimate. They try to engage these resources, but they don't really understand them, nor do they actually believe that, according to their system, that they should be doing this. But they think, well, if I learn how to sound smart, and this is like the common theme that we always talk about, if I sound smart, then I am smart. But that's just not really true. And him just, spewing about Leibniz, where he just keeps talking about him. Why are you even studying philosophy? Isn't this haram? Like, what is this? It's a strange position. And I don't think you really understand it, and nor do you actually believe in these laws of identity, because guess what? Let's be transparent here. If you're going to critique the Trinity, these same problems are going to occur for Islam. these same philosophical issues are going to occur for Allah within Islam. So it's really, I find it to be kind of just moronic and stupid to come and say, I'm going to attack, your religion philosophically speaking, and I'm also open to that same attack. If I attack you, then I will be attacked. It's sort of like what Raymond Ibrahim did when he was engaging with Jay Smith about the mythicist position, where he's like, if you're attacking this mythical element of Islam, then that can be attack. You can use that towards Christianity. So why would you even do that? And I think it's the same case in this scenario as well.
Actually, so that reminded me of something. So if he is a Salafi, and I think it's pretty certain that he is with respect to Akida, unless he changed his view, but that means that he prizes Ibn Taymiyyah, right? He's the gold standard for Salafism, but Ibn Taymiyyah wrote a whole book called Against the Greek Logicians. So it was an attack on Aristotelian logic and its intrusion into Islamic traditionalist thinking.
Yeah, Issa said that you could raise similar objections about Allah and so on. I'm guessing along the lines of like with his attributes and things like that, where he has distinct attributes and attributes that are even in conflict with each other and so on. But no Muslim's going to say, therefore, you have multiple different gods and so on. But I was thinking in terms of like the Quran, and I'm guessing someone's done this. Someone's obviously done this, right? Like with the different qira'at. Yeah. So you could apply the same exact reasoning here, right? If you're applying the definition of identity that hijab is using, Jai, is the Hafs Quran identical in every way to the Warsh Quran?
No.
Okay, so there are multiple different Qurans then. Why do they keep saying one Quran? Right? Like,
by the way, someone is using that argument on TikTok, and they're making Muslims go crazy over that question. And they don't. It would have
to be identical. They would have to be identical in all of their properties and so on, and they're not. They even contradict each other. They even contradict each other, different versions of the Quran. And so the point is,
this is how they phrase it. Actually, they say, "Is Hafs fully the Quran? Is Warsh fully the Quran?" And then, like you said, are they completely identical to each other? So fully the Quran, identical to you can do that by times 20. By the way, you can do that times 20.
And suddenly,
Hijab will say, not fully the Quran, truly the Quran.
He'll say
fully.
Yeah, he'll say truly the Quran, and he'll say, but yes, relative identity. Yes, relative identity. Yes, two things can be the same in one way, but different in. What a joke, man. Hang on, let's. We need to cleanse our brains for a few seconds before we see what Hijab's response, or if he can understand the Titanic example is. What is this? We need to find Mohammed Hijab for false copyright. Yeah, we do need to figure that out. Hijab. For anyone who doesn't know, apparently Hijab is copyright striking everyone, but he's going with Hijab. So I guess he thinks this will keep him out of trouble for filing false copyright strikes. Well, that's not even my name. It's a different name. We'll see what happens. Anthony, we're running apologetic seminars in Australia. If you're interested in coming, D. Wood is a criminal and is not allowed on this convict island. Isn't that weird? Like, I'm not allowed in Australia, which is entirely populated with criminals, and they can't handle one more. Like, we've reached the maximum number of criminals we can have on our island.
But it's doubly problematic, isn't it? They've overlooked something.
That Anthony's a convicted felon too?
Yep.
Nice try, Ozzy Abe. Can't have me, can't have Anthony.
Hey.
It's 30 years ago. Does that count? I mean, do I get a pass on that?
It does for me. It does for me. I didn't get a pass. I mean, they don't tell you. They just reject your whatever that thing's called. Mimi
Tell him
kept
I was
saying
an 18-year-old kid.
Mimi kept saying Muslim scholars only had two views.
Actually, the work he was actually citing, Ibn Hajar's work, he actually shows that there's four views in that very work he's citing, he talks about there being 4 views. The first, I'll just be really quick with this. So the first view on the extreme side is that it's the Bible, the Torah, the Injil, completely corrupt, and those are the people who say you can like use it to like wipe yourself in the toilet and kind of disrespect it in that way. That's the extreme view. Then there's another view that says that it's mostly corrupted and some of it's intact. A third view that says that it's some of it is corrupted, but it's mostly intact. And then there's another view which is that it's completely intact, and the only thing that is wrong is their Christian interpretation, Jewish interpretation. So those are actually 4 views in the very work he was citing, and he kept saying there's only 2 views.
But 2 candles make a bigger flame. Man with 6 degrees. Yep, that's powerful. This stream is whiter than Mohammed. Oh, really? You're calling Issa white? Weird. I also argue in my book, The Death of Allah. Hey, there it is. I also argue in my book, The Death of Allah, that it is highly improbable for a Unitarian God to cause at all or to explain moral and aesthetic facts. Yes, he does, guys. Reverend Rogers, we schooled Imam Hussein on his own Quran, Surah 66:12. We and the chastity parts of Mary.
Yeah, that liar. I debated him at Wayne State University in Detroit just a few weeks ago. And at one point, he said at one point, he says, the Quran never says anything even remotely disrespectful about Issa and his mother. And so I went to Surah 66:12. I had a whole bunch more I wanted to bring out, but we couldn't get past it because he kept denying the Arabic. Right. So in Surah 66:12, it mentions that the angel, assuming the form of a fully formed man, blew into Mary's farjaha.
No, that's Surah 19. 66:12 is Allah just says.
No, I think it says. Doesn't it say fihi too, into it? In
66:12. Yeah. It says So Allah says she guarded her private parts and we blew therein
into it.
Yeah, something of our spirit. Yeah.
So you've got this man standing in front of Mary, according to the verse. Doesn't sound too chaste to me.
Nope. And I guess like Mary just had to sit there and let this stranger do this, right? Where do we disrespect? Listening to Definitely Not Ginger's Giant Chris, Muslims think internal critique means take all their assumptions and just assume anything to win. Yeah, they do assume things like that, which is insane. Yeah, on internal critique, like if you say the Islamic dilemma is an internal critique. Now, it's not completely because the Quran is talking about scriptures outside of it and so on, but they think internal critique means we can go with anything any commentator's ever said, and you have to let us. And so that's not what that means, man. That's not what that means. And if they thought it was that, then you can't criticize the Trinity because we'll just say, oh, Christian scholars have said it makes perfect sense, and therefore you can't. We don't have to listen to any of your objections. Suddenly they would change their methodology. But it's just like on this, right? Like this is the law of identity that you have to go with. This is the form of identity that you have to go with. And you say, okay, let's apply that to the Quran. Suddenly they wouldn't care even slightly.
Exactly.
It's just they decide what they want to be the case. They want to attack the Trinity. Okay, let's use anything that makes our argument sound smart. So let's just use all that and then attack the Trinity. And you say, okay, since you've agreed to all these principles, guess what? Now you have you have tons of different Qurans. Tons of different Qurans. No, we don't apply that stuff. All that philosophy nonsense, we don't care about that. Wild stuff. Text God Logic to do it again. Hijab goes live in 17 hours, April 28th at 11:30 a.m. God bless you guys, David, Anthony, Nick, and Jai. That's the weird situation. Like Hijab then challenging Christians to call in and challenging Islam when we already know what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Like why is it?
It's like what is it, like entrapment or something? No,
he's like come on, go and share it. Yeah, put it on your channel. Yeah, do that. You do that. Ha copyright strike.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think the goal is like to have the worst possible behavior, talking about people's wives, constantly insulting people, and then filing false copyright strikes against Christian apologists. Lots of Christian apologists. Anyone who discusses it. I think the goal is like people eventually say, all right, you're a joke. We're not dealing with you anymore. You're so disgusting and reprehensible with your behavior and your stunts you pull. We're just done with you. And at that point, he can say, you see, they're all running from me. They're scared. And his fans will actually be stupid enough to fall for that. Hijab's illiterate like his prophet Mohammed. Hey, don't say that while Issa's here, man. You're going to hurt his feelings. Oh, but to be fair, you said it before Issa got here. Missing DOC, loving all the education we are getting on the back of Hijab. Every apologetic worth their salt is critiquing Hijab's relative stupidity. Relative stupidity. Anthony, we could call that one absolute stupidity. Anthony Rogers and Gimli, son of Gloin, are one in essence, but distinct in person. Clockwise, Pope, Genghis Khan, Rajneesh, and Amir Khan. You're missing Issa, man.
I guess I'm Amir Khan. Maybe I'm Amir Khan.
It's Lily J feeding Hijab on his live. Who else? Yeah, Lily J was going, Chat GPT, how would you answer, Avery? What do you guys think? And putting it up on the screen. Mo has 6 degrees, or Avery gave him the 3rd degree twice.
Nice.
You know, I wanted to make a comment on that point about the degrees. I'm like, I don't understand that argument. Like, all these ancient, like, holy people didn't have any degrees. They didn't go to college. Does that mean that they're less than? Like, so would Muhammad Hijab attack the Prophet of Islam? Because if that's his case, the Prophet of Islam doesn't know anything either because he doesn't have any degrees.
No, if you weren't here, Issa, I would be calling him bucktooth hillbilly redneck, because that's what Muhammad Hijab says about people without degrees. He calls them bucktooth hillbilly rednecks. That's what he calls them. Crazy stuff. Misspelling for YouTube, I equals A. Hijab reminds me of the old white racist back in the 1980s here in the U.S. Southeast. Effectively, this person obviously can't be smarter than any person of my race. Let's see. Avery decimated Hijab as expected, but man, look at Uncle Mojab. I remember years back, he was in his prime and peak of ape behavior. He's less funny now. Can't believe I was ever Muslim. Christ is Lord. Hear that, Issa? What is Mr. Mistopheles' first name? Yes, that's a good question. Can Hijab answer it? Are you going to the Santa Monica Pier this weekend? No, since none of us live there. Aristotle.
They got good tacos. They got good tacos.
You don't know.
I used to live over there. Yeah,
Aristotle found logic 27 centuries before he lived. Yes, he was very strong. Panel, please explain Trinity in simple language. Ooh, yeah. Let's see y'all do that. Yeah.
Simple language is 3 distinct persons that are one God. There's one essence. There's one act of operation. So they all participate in each other's actions. And they have the same concrete existence. It's like the simplest way to explain it.
Now, Anthony, he said that's the simplest way to explain it. I challenge you to come up with a way of explaining it 50% simpler.
And please don't say Neapolitan ice cream.
I would just probably take, the beginning of what he said. I mean, he's sort of expanding on his own simple definition, I think. Just explaining further what he meant by, 3 persons who are one God or something to that effect.
Didn't Central Dawa say, like, Allah made train? Hey, quit talking about trains with the Dawa guys. That's messed up. Didn't Central Dawa say, like, Allah made trains or a reason we have or something like? I don't know.
Yeah, Central made a video on TikTok, and it was like, come on, it's obvious that God and Allah exist. Do you think man just made this train outside? Everyone's like,
really?
Yeah. That is,
oh my
yes,
goodness!
Yes, that is exactly what happened.
Dude,
man made that train.
He's making Junior sound.
Really it was
awesome.
So funny.
Hey, Than says I'm back. That's good to know.
Good to know, Than.
Almost done. Hey, look, everyone, Than is back. Bark, bark. That's good. That's good. Can promote our new song, Discombobulated, God Logic, Discombobulated, Muhammad Hijab intellectually molested him by Kefa, Deoseed, in Walk with the Spirit. All right, guys, you can check that out. Synecdoche is the English word for totem pro parte.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
one of those
That's
important.
what Muhammad was saying, calling something by the whole, by the part. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one of those important facts we'll have to remember in case we're ever on Jeopardy. Where is AP? Is he hiding? He's a weakling. AP's traveling, so that's good. And then we don't have to deal with him. Quran 47.4, Mojab variant. So when you meet the disbelievers in debate, copyright strike their channels until you have thoroughly annoyed them. That's it. Yeah, it's much better than striking at their necks. If A is X and B is X, then A equals B. Effects of having generations of cousin marriage. Yes, that is. That is very poor. Mm-hmm. And again, it shows he has no clue what he's talking about. God bless you, Issa and Rogers. What is FT?
Fearless Truth,
man. Come on. Now.
Oh, Fearless Truth, man. I thought it was one of these things because people say FTW, and that's for the win now. When I was a kid, it meant F the world. So for years, I thought when people were saying FTW, they were saying F the world after everything. I was like, gosh, you guys are Christians, man. You guys are Christians. But apparently it changed to for the win at some point. And last one here, the Trinity in 2 words. Allahu Alam. Allahu Alam, brother.
There you go.
All right. Let's jump back into this.
Mm-hmm. The same as the one that sunk.
They are absolutely identical in every way.
Probably not, because it's
but it's still the Titanic. So you just affirmed that
is the worst.
He's saying that's the worst?
That's the worst?
You just said it's not the same Titanic, man. So there was some ship called the Titanic, and now there's something else at the bottom of the ocean we're calling the Titanic, but it's not the same Titanic. You just acknowledged it. According to the definition of identity you were insisting upon.
That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Relative identity
I have ever heard. That is the worst thing I've ever heard.
Okay, is the Titanic the same Titanic that sunk? Is it the same ship?
So what's the analogy here?
Is it the same ship?
Are you stupid?
What's the analogy here?
Is the Titanic that left the shore the same ship that sunk?
What's your point?
Are you stupid?
I'll ask it again.
No, make your point.
No, you're going to answer.
Guys, I'll say it again. If he had spent 15 minutes studying identity, issues like this would have come up in the discussion of identity. He has no clue what Avery's even talking about, which means there's no way he's ever studied it. He's being fed answers on a screen.
I totally agree. I saw him reading, like you can tell, like when you're reading the screen.
Right there.
And I had a question about the 6 degrees too. How do we know that these are even legitimate degrees? These might be paper mill degrees from the Hijab University. I think we need to fact check that. Are these Hijab University degrees?
Hey, it's not Hijab University. It's the Cambridge Leering Center.
Yeah, Cambridge Leering Center. You're correct.
All right.
Answer.
No, it's not the same one. It's a different one.
Is the Titanic
okay?
Left the shore?
Now go on. What does it mean?
Is it the same ship that sunk?
What are you talking about, man? Okay, no, it's not. No, you're right. So what does it mean?
Wait. Hold on a second.
What's up?
He thinks Avery's getting at no, it's not. He thinks he's saying no, it's not. Okay, what's your point?
No, Avery's defending relative identity. It is in one way. It's not in another way.
Mohammed Hijab is thinking that he's leading him to say that they're not identical. They're not. It's not the same Titanic, right?
Yeah, Avery's pointing out a problem with the definition with the idea of identity that hijab is insisting is the only way you can think about these things, and he's pointing out an obvious problem with it.
What I'm saying is Mohammed Hijab doesn't know where he's going because first he said yes,
he may think that he's like,
no.
You're trying to say this.
Yeah.
So but he's trying to get him to understand a basic issue. Yeah.
So Mohammed Hijab gave both answers because he doesn't know where Avery is going with this, and you're saying this is extremely simple if you have like 50 minutes of studying on this topic. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Mohammed Hijab doesn't have 15 minutes of studying
because you just affirmed identity
of the Trinity here. It's weird. I've been listening to him. I'm like, where are you disproving the Trinity? Because you don't understand it. That doesn't mean that the Trinity is false. Because you're claiming. You're trying to subject the Trinity to your perspective of what you think are the laws of identity. You think Leibniz is superior to what the Trinity is? Like, no one is going to take that, and that's what Avery said. He's like, I don't take this law. This doesn't mean I'm not beholden to it. So why do you think that that's going to work? And it's so weird that he thinks that this is like, he's got the game in the bag. He's got the trump card, and it's very unimpressive. I don't know how anyone would believe this at all.
Yeah, so basically, hijab, in order, he's ruling out the idea that Jesus can be God and the Father can be God and the Holy Spirit can be God because we would distinguish between Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And he's saying, nope. If they're God, they would have to be the exact same in every way. You couldn't make any distinctions. And then Avery just, oh, okay, well, I can make a distinction between the Titanic that was floating and the Titanic that's at the bottom of the ocean. So it's not the same Titanic, right? According to what you're saying. In which case, Hijab, he can't even agree with the own definition that he was insisting upon, let alone if we applied it to the Quran and he would throw it in the garbage. But I mean, just keep in mind, just, a few minutes earlier, they're laughing and mocking him. Oh, you've thrown out all of logic. You're so stupid. Oh my goodness. And you can't even take it seriously. And then when he makes an example to help you think about this, instead of insisting on things that you don't understand, you can't even understand his example because you've never studied it. What did you study for your 6 degrees? Obviously not this.
Yeah, but he gave both answers. He said yes, it's identical, and no, it's not identical. He said both things because he doesn't know where Avery's going with this.
No clue.
Absolute identity. You just affirmed identity without absolute identity. I'll ask it again. So is the Titanic that left the shore?
No, explain it to me how it goes to Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
No. You're gonna answer this. I want you because
it's the same. It's different.
He's saying you're applying a view of identity and demanding that it be applied to God, and you won't even apply it to a boat, and you suddenly breaks down, and you definitely wouldn't apply it to Islamic topics. So you don't really believe in it. It's just convenient. Anything, in other words, anything is a tool for you to attack the Trinity, which makes it sound like you actually follow a demonic antichrist religion that is just focused on attacking the true God and attacking the Lord Jesus Christ. And you guys are programmed to attack with anything, which shows how utterly demonic this is. That's what I would say.
About it. No problem. Yeah,
is
no
the
problem.
Titanic that left the shore the same ship?
What?
What?
Say? I don't know how he wants me to answer this.
With all those
I told you. He just said, "I don't know how he wants me to answer this." That's why he gave both answers.
You don't have it. Hijab. It doesn't matter what he wants. Is that ship the same ship? Is the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean? Is that the same ship that was floating? Is it the same ship? If so, it sounds like you're affirming relative identity, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're not educated. You're not qualified for this level of dialogue.
Wait.
You're not ready, man.
Wait, one second.
You're not ready. He just affirmed identity, ladies and gentlemen. Just affirmed identity.
Titanic.
Sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
What are you saying?
Playing with his little rubber boat, trying to figure it out. Taking his little rubber boat, making it go down. Is it the same boat? What does he want me to answer?
Just land it, and then I'll let you speak. Okay.
It's not the same one.
Hey, brother, I don't want to speak over you. I want to hear what you're saying. Just let me land what I'm saying. Okay. I'm gonna land what I'm saying, and I promise I'll sit quiet and I'll listen to you. So, Mohammed Hijab, you just affirmed identity, disregarding absolute identity. That's why you're confused. Go ahead. The person who's
you're trying to prove relative identity. So from one aspect he's God, then from another aspect he's not. Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
So what are you trying to say?
That you can be identical.
What are you trying to say? Make your point, man.
Identical in one way,
no one understands you,
and distinct in another.
No one understands.
So the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are identical in essence while being distinct in personhood or hypostasis.
Huh? Okay, no problem. They're distinct in hypostasis and in person. Okay, no problem. If they're distinct in person, do they have separate centers of consciousness or not?
I already answered this question. I'll answer it again. They have the same center of consciousness. They have the same mind,
the same will.
So
what's different about them? Let me
tell
me what's different.
Because
tell me what's different about it.
Oh, what's different about the persons?
Yeah.
Sure. So the Father begets the Son. The Father is unbegotten. The Father is unbegotten. The Son is begotten from the Father, and the Spirit proceeds from the Father. That's
I see. So no, great. Let me learn a bit more about the Trinity because I want to know.
I know you are. You're learning a lot today.
No, I need to learn more about the Trinity.
No, don't worry, I'm here all day, man. I'm here to serve.
You're going to teach me.
I'm here to serve up halal meals.
Hold on, let me just ask you the question so you can teach me about the Trinity, please. I want to know.
What did you say?
I said he doesn't want to learn about the Trinity. He wants to attack the Trinity.
That is true.
because
I've been doing that so far. What's your question?
All the Muslims want to know. All the Muslims want to know. Yeah, so I'm going to ask you
What's
this.
your question, Habibi?
My question, boy, is the following. Okay, boy, the question is the following: if it's true that the father begets the son, okay, you said that, right?
Yeah, I did.
Does that mean that the son is generated?
Yes, he is generated eternally from the father.
Okay, beautiful. So if he's generated, that means he's caused, right?
He is, no. So when we're saying, let me.
He is. Yeah, no. What is it?
Stuttering.
Is he
Nobody's
caused or
doing
not?
all this, bro.
He's generated.
Let me explain. Let me explain. All right.
Oh no.
Got you.
Okay.
So when we say that the son is begotten or generated or caused by the father, this is not something that happens in time, but this is an eternal generation, an eternal.
He's flexing again.
So he's being perpetually caused, is he?
Guys, if anyone's watching, it's like, what is this? This is what is impressive to Dawa fans, right? This is what is impressive to them. So if you want to understand anything and you want to see the problems with generations of first cousin marriage, just look at the screen on the left there.
So basically, he knows that Muslims don't understand what's going on here. What does it mean by begotten?
They're like, I don't understand anything that's going on, but
they
him flexing pecs, him flexing pecs. Oh my goodness, this is the truth. He's got the look. He's got the haq and the hikmah. One peck is the haq, and the other is the hikmah, and he's making the haq and the hikmah bounce. Oh my goodness, this is the truth.
He's just dancing around and entertaining the Muslims.
Clown nonsense, man.
I actually agree 100%. I don't think Muslims at all understand these things.
No, they don't.
I think it's exactly what you're saying. I think he sounds like he's confident.
It's what you're saying when you talked about the old In Living Color skit, that right?
Yeah, it's totally flexing, and
I need to make a video. I need to find out. I need to find out how strict they are on copyright with the old In Living Color clips, because it's a perfect example. For you guys who don't know what we're talking about, Issa brought this up one day. It was Damon Wayans. Hey, Anthony, you'll remember this, but it was Damon Wayans would play the character who's in prison, but he's like Nation of Islam, and all he does, and he's like, everything he says is like, because the perspicacity of the consequences, and combined with the mammogram, it's like all complete gibberish, but it's all big words, and that's like impressive to him, and that's what these guys are like.
And you can mix in there homie to clown.
Mm-hmm. Homie, don't play that.
Don't play that. Have him knock Hijab side the head.
It's really funny when I listen to this, because I was listening to Muslims reflecting on this. There was this
people
one
pointed out
name.
Oswald Bates. Oswald Bates. That was the character's name.
Oh, that's so funny. The prophet Daniel speaks. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's one of the debaters around. He reviewed this debate, and he's like, Mohammed Hijab won. And I'm like, what world did Mohammed Hijab win? What world did Mohammed Hijab win? And he basically, I'm like, what Mohammed Hijab did is he just regurgitated talking points. You know, he didn't say anything. I agree with what Avery said. Avery said, you're not any different than any other debater that he's engaged with. So I was listening, and he was like, yes, the points are true about the Islamic Dhamma. I'm like, no, they're not. I'm like, anybody with common sense knows that that's false. Because guess what? I'm like, do Muslims need to be educated in Islam? The whole premise of what the Islamic religion is that it's supposed to be this religion of continuance, right? That's the argument of Islam. Islam is saying, hey, we're a continuance from Adam all the way to the Prophet of Islam, right? That's the argument for Islam. So if you're saying, well, you know, the Torah, the Zabur, the Injil, they're all corrupted, then where's your isnad? You have a broken chain. You don't even have a legitimate chain. You're talking about hadith chains? You don't have a chain to Adam. How can you claim the lineage to Adam when you don't even have a clean chain? You don't even have the correct text. I don't think these people understand the magnitude of the position that they're taking. Their whole thing, it's like a house of cards collapsing. If that's the position that they take, everything goes down with it. They're like, I'm winning a battle, but I'm losing the war. It's insane.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing with all this copyright nonsense. It's very short term thinking, because this does not work long term. And as far as that Daniel, whoever, saying that hijab clearly won, and you saying in what world? Yeah, so it's obviously not the real world, and so is it identical to the real world? Well, no, because this world is real. We're in the real world, and any world where Mohammed Hijab won is not the real world. So, hope that helps.
Eternally generated.
Aha. So generated means he's perpetually caused, is he?
Sure. What?
So caused. Okay, so he's a contingent existence. He's not a necessary existence. He's contingent.
Oh, is
He's
this the
dependent
Ali
being,
Dawah
is he?
argument?
Is your God dependent?
No, he's not
Your
a
son.
Now we know who's giving him the notes. It is only.
Let me answer this now. He's not a dependent being. To be a dependent being means that you are dependent or contingent on another being outside of yourself. The Son shares the same essence, is the same being as the Father, and so therefore the Father eternally causing or generating the Son is not demonstrates that he's actually a independent being because his essence isn't sourced in any other essence.
But you just said he's generated by the Father. That's what you just said. He
shares the same essence as the Father. This is the difference between hypostatic properties and essential properties. To be a dependent being means that your essential properties are contingent on another being.
I want to know what's in that. I want to know what's in that cup right there, because he's starting to sound a little intoxicated.
He said tea. I heard him say tea, but come on, Hijab.
Is it like fermented, camel urine?
We know he likes brandy. We know he likes brandy because he had a. What's that, Nick?
When he stuck out his tongue, it was mad yellow, so it might have been camel urine.
Camel urine,
Wild
don't you?
stuff. Yes, and camel urine makes me very smart and powerful.
Now remember, you're learning.
Fantastic. So now you admit that he's generated by the Father.
Eternally, yes.
Oh, he's eternally. It makes it even worse because he's being caused and caused and caused and caused.
How's that work?
So dependent that he needs to be caused over and over again. Is that what you're telling me?
Say it again. Sorry.
Can you be caused and uncaused at the same time?
Depends. Yeah, it depends on what you mean. So you can be called.
Oh, is that where they got the picture from? Is that where everyone took the picture from?
Yes.
Yes.
This is the moment right here. This is the moment.
Leaking.
That must be some good camel urine, man. Look, he's even got Avery cracking up with how stupid he is.
I think everyone was dying laughing too.
I think our friend needs a deliverance.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good for you to point that out. He's definitely demonized.
You heard it here, and this is one of Mohammed Hijab's fellow Muslims.
Oh, yeah, you can see the yellow tongue. You're right. That's crazy. He's drinking camel urine.
What the heck were you doing, man, with SpongeBob earlier, man? You got a yellow tongue. Anyway, let's just go on. Come on.
Look at him. Oh, now you've gone straight into the non-contradiction. Now you've taken non-contradiction.
Yo, the manifestation is insane.
Now it's non-contradiction.
This is why.
How dare you talk about Islam, boy? How dare you talk about Islam,
This is
boy?
why God. Look, I'm so happy.
Guys, I have to say, I was at a certain demolition ranch, let's say, when people started sending me messages saying, Avery's destroying. This is while it was live. Avery's destroying Mohammed Hijab, right? And then afterwards, still hadn't watched it, but I started looking at the comments on Hijab's page, on Hijab's channel, and the Muslims, Hijab destroyed, dog logic, and I'm like, okay, so I'm guessing Avery schooled him, but there's enough there for Muslims to think Mohammed Hijab won. So Mohammed Hijab must have got some good points and stuff like that. I actually started watching the Islamic Dilemma. Like, this is like massacre. This is like complete one-sided massacre. And so, but I was actually thinking, okay, so if Muslims are claiming victory, it must have been from the Trinity debate or something like that. And therefore, Mohammed Hijab must have been really, really putting up a good fight on the Trinity. And it's just, he sounds like an idiot the entire time. It's like, what are you guys seeing here? Him shaking pecs. Oh, him smart. Gosh, what a religion, man.
It's a curb stomp battle. This is a curb stomp battle. I don't know if you've seen those movies where the action hero defeats all the opponents with a flick of a finger or a tiny punch. That's what this situation is. It's devastatingly bad. And,
that's not what a curb stomp is, Issa.
I know. I get it.
That's where you beat someone senseless and then you put his mouth on the curb and you stomp in the back of his head and smashes all his teeth out.
Totally correct.
But that is a good description of what I'm seeing here.
The motif of what they call the curb stomp battle is this concept of where the hero just basically defeats, the opponents easily without any situation. But you're right. That's like what happens in American History X, where he does a curb stomp. So, yeah.
My favorite go-to move.
Hey,
Hey, that'd be a cool name. Hey, anyone who's starting an apologetics channel, call it Curb Stomp Apologetics. Do that.
At the same
I'm
time,
so
now,
happy that you're one of the faces of Dawah. You can be
you're
called
done now,
in
boy,
one way and
Apologize.
uncaused
Leave
in another
Christianity.
way.
Repent for your ways. Leave Christianity immediately now.
Let me respond.
You've been caught out.
Are you gonna let me
You've been
respond?
caught out
Who's
now, haven't
persuaded
you,
by
boy?
that?
Are you gonna let me
He's
respond?
caused and uncaused at the same
You can look and see exactly who's persuaded by this because they keep putting the comments up. That's the target audience there, Issa. That's the that's the target audience. 40 generations of first cousin marriage. Comment after comment after comment.
time.
None of this works, bro. Showing that you're running from the argument is not helping out.
Is that contravention of no?
This is like so like Hijab is so annoying that it's getting boring. When does he bring up Libiano?
I think this is like the end. I don't know if he included it in his. If you're watching it from, depending on whose live you're watching it from, I don't know if he includes it. But it's soon after this. It's very soon after this.
Let's see.
Contradiction of not, boy. Is it a contravention of non-contradiction or not, boy?
You've been trying to jump out the pot, but you're not
Is it
doing
a contravention of non-contradiction or not, boy?
Okay. All right, can I answer?
Is it a contravention of non-contradiction or not, boy?
Can I answer?
Oh,
Can I
he's
answer?
caused uncaused, is he? Is he caused uncaused?
Can I answer? Thank you. So now I'm about to answer your question. So Hijab, this is you not understanding categories. For something to be a contradiction, it has to be the opposite in the same way, in the same sense. So when I say Jesus is uncaused and caused at the same time, I'm not saying that he's uncaused in the same sense that he's caused. So for example, him being caused by the Father, excuse me.
Oh yeah, I just checked. Libiano is about to come up, and it is in the video.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Him being caused or eternally generated by the Father is a hypostatic quality. It's a hypostatic property, a relation that he has with the Father.
Sure.
This is not saying, excuse me, he is not essentially caused. Excuse me.
Can a necessary being be caused in any way?
Excuse me.
Can a necessary being be caused in any way?
Allow me to finish.
Can a necessary being be caused in any way?
Talks to me, but not
Can a
this
necessary
much.
being be caused in any way, boy?
That
Can a
comment was
necessary
accurate.
being be caused in
what's that, Issa?
There was a comment that was accurate. It said flawless victory, but it was not a flawless victory for Mohammed Hijab. That's right. I don't know. It's definitely a flawless victory against Mohammed Hijab.
Anyway,
there.
can an independent being be independent in any way? Can an uncaused being be caused in any way? Can an uncaused being be caused in any way, boy?
Jump out the pot. Stop trying to jump out.
And this is what the Quran says.
Yes.
Subhanallah.
This is what the Quran says. You talk about the people who are deceived and deviant in their hearts.
He does not beget nor is he begotten. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. He does not beget. Why? Because he's a samad.
Are you going to continue to interrupt me because of your nervousness? Are you going to allow your nervousness and your fear to overcome you? Are you going to continue to not practice self-control?
I seriously cannot imagine a situation where I'm like, please bring up Libiano, man, please, just so you shut up for 5 seconds.
Wait,
with this.
This is too rich. I don't know if you heard him. He said he doesn't beget because he's samad. So in Surah 112, it says, say he is Allah the One, and then many translations will say something like eternal, right? He doesn't beget, neither is he begotten. There's nothing comparable to him. If you look at Al-Tabari, he gives various possible meanings for the word samad, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Jai can pronounce it correctly for us.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
But there's variations on hollow and solid, and the chain that goes back to Muhammad, which Tabari says, if this be correct, then this is the meaning, and he lands on the idea that it means solid. Now, the reason this is interesting is because according to the occasion for the revelation of Surah 112, the sending down, quote unquote, of Surah 112 was in response to pagans coming to Muhammad asking him, in effect, if his, what his God is made of. Does he have some substance or what have you? And so, on that view, it seems quite striking that Allah would then say he is solid. Now, certain early Muslims took this quite literally, and they debated the extent of Allah's solidity. So you had some saying he's solid from the stomach down, because he has to have a chest cavity since he speaks after all. Mm-hmm. Right? Then you had others saying no, from the waist down. And you can see how this fits into the text, right? If he's solid from the waist down, then he can't beget. Right? There's no cavity, there's no ability down below for him to do this. Now this is also where it ties in with other things that Tabari reports, and some people have heard me talk about this before, but it's too great not to tell the story. There's the story of Allah creating Adam and erecting. It was first a lifeless statue. He causes it to stand erect for 40 years.
Like all that.
During that time, a company of angels happens upon it, and they're at first frightened. But then Satan comes along and wonders what they're frightened by, and then says he's going to go over and inspect and see if they should be alarmed or not. He goes over to the statue, he goes into its mouth and out through its butt, and then comes back and says, "Don't worry, fellas. That thing is hollow, but your Lord is samad, solid." Mm-hmm. So apparently they were afraid of this statue because they thought it was Allah, but Satan disproved that by going inside of it and exiting through its rear. So it couldn't be Allah because Allah, after all, is solid. So now you see the wonderful wisdom of Muhammad in Surah 112 and why he tells you that Allah does not beget, because Allah is solid, at least from the waist down. Brilliant religion.
Yeah, I think just like 90 people in the chat converted to Islam because of that powerful story. You see, Allah is solid. You cannot crawl through him like you can with a statue.
That there's so much confusion on that word. They have like so many different explanations for what that means.
Yep,
but what's interesting though is,
I was just going to say, it's because if I say, what's 2 + 2 equal, and then I tell you you can't say 4, well,
right.
all the answers people generate are going to be hopelessly confused because none of them are going to work, and so it's going to be a matter of, well, which one can I make sound more persuasive, right?
Yeah.
But
I think there's like a dozen or like half a dozen different definitions. One of them that's really funny. One thing that's funny to note about this is that the cognate in Hebrew, it's semed, which means a couple or a pair. So you get all these kind of like really people who try to like figure out what this word means, and they're trying to do like comparative linguistics, like what does it mean in Hebrew, what does it mean in this language, the Semitic languages. You're going to get some really like weird definitions for what it would mean in the Quran. But yeah, that's a good topic for a stream.
All right, let's see Libiano pop up here.
Be quiet for a second.
Libiano to the rescue.
What happened this entire live stream?
Let me tell you this.
Now the live stream, ladies and gentlemen, has degraded because Mohammed Hijab can't allow a discourse, a dialogue.
Avery,
allow me to finish what I was saying without your interruption.
Avery,
allow me to finish what I was saying without your interrupting.
This is like extremely.
So I'm just going to continue.
Mohammed Hijab.
So there's hypostatic properties and there's essential properties.
Listen,
Jesus is not caused essentially.
I understand what you're saying, but
isn't this amazing? Avery's sitting here trying to break down Christian theology, which is being challenged. Hijab will not even allow that.
His essence derives from the Father, which is not derived from anything else.
Okay,
but however, he is caused hypostatically, eternally generated. Meaning it doesn't happen in time because that's his relation with the Father. So it's not a contradiction, because his causation is in the sense of his hypostatic relation with the Father, while he's essentially not caused by any other being. I'm hoping that you can respond to what I'm saying.
In any sense, can a necessary being be caused in any sense?
Yes, hypostatically.
Then you're out of order. You're out of order. You're out of order, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Who is a necessary
being cannot be caused in any sense with the consensus of logicians,
being begotten from the Father.
You're absolutely out of order. You're absolutely out of order for you to say, that. It's ridiculous. So your God is dependent.
Refute me.
In a sense.
Refute me. No, again, to be dependent,
no problem.
To be dependent is to rely on a being outside of yourself.
Refutes you.
Show me that my God is dependent.
The Quran refutes you by telling you clearly. The Quran says, "Qul huwa Allahu ahad." Say He's Allah one and only. Allahu samad. He is the independent. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor is he begotten. Wa lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad, and there's nothing like him. Why is Allah telling us that he is independent and then telling us he does not beget nor is he begotten? Because it's clear that people like you unfortunately believe it's possible to be independent and dependent at the same time. Allah is telling us, and this is in line with classical logic, which you've already rejected today, that it's impossible to be independent and dependent at the same time in any respect, in even 1% respect. You cannot be a necessary or independent being in any respect.
Yeah, he did.
In any respect, and then have an 1% dependency. You can't have 1% dependency. You cannot have hypostatic dependency. You cannot have essential dependency. You cannot have attributial dependency. You cannot have any level ontological dependency. And if you believe that you can, then you are putting two things together which contradict.
Is Allah dependent on his attributes?
Because you're a fool. You're an idiot.
Should be a easy question to answer.
And you have misrepresented Peter Geach. He doesn't believe
is
what you
Allah
just said.
dependent on his attributes, yes or no?
With the predicative view, social Trinitarianism, and Latin Trinitarianism.
I gave you monarchical Trinitarianism. You couldn't even deal with
philosophy. You don't know what you're talking
about. You
can't
even deal with monarchical Trinitarianism.
You don't know what you're saying.
You can't deal with my motto of
out of your depth. You're completely out of your depth. You don't know what you're saying. You can drink. You can put whatever hat and costume you want. You have been entirely decimated today. It's been destruction upon destruction upon destruction.
He's partly right. It has been destruction upon destruction
This
upon
is
destruction.
true.
And
Identical to his
any
attributes.
Christian that's watching this
Let's see
today,
if we can get an answer.
let me tell you this, Christians, if you're watching this,
Just a lot of
and
the
you've just heard
Christians,
this,
the WAP.
Let me tell you this, Christians, if you're watching this on Avery's channel, I'm going to copyright strike it because I don't want you watching it.
if you've just heard this presentation about the Trinity and you still are Christian, wallahi, you are fooling yourselves, and you should be
you are absolutely embarrassed.
Because there's no way,
you are absolutely embarrassed.
You don't believe in a God that's dependent.
Thank
you don't believe in a
you are
God.
absolutely embarrassed.
You don't believe in a generated God. You don't believe in any of that stuff. You believe in the one God that created the heavens and the earth. That's what we Muslims call you to. We call you to the one God who created the heavens and the earth.
I was just preaching, couldn't interact with anything Avery's saying, and can't answer a simple question. Where is Libiano, man? There's only like 2 minutes left. Where the heck is Libiano?
It's the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The one God who created the heavens and the earth, who is the God of Muhammad, who is the God of Allah, who is the God of all creation, and all false gods out there.
On a hypostatic level, he's dependent, and on the central level, he's not. That is an insufficient, dissatisfactory, otherwise incomplete answer. That is impossible to reconcile. And if you
stop preaching and engage,
then you're either
ignorant or Muhammad doesn't engage that.
You know Islam is true. You know there's only one.
Oh, now they're going, you know Islam is true. Really?
Terrible.
Really?
Terrible.
I know that the creator of the universe sent the most obvious false prophet in history to convince me that he's obsessed with me walking, talking, living, breathing, speaking, praying, and even going to the bathroom like a 7th century Arab. Yeah, I just know it. It's just intuitively obvious.
Yeah. I completely misremembered this part of the debate. I thought there was a lot more substance here than there was. It was like 90% rhetoric. Yeah, I completely misremembered this. This is crazy. It's like 90% rhetoric and like 10% substance.
And I'm saying, like, Libiano must be ready to come in because I just looked and he is in there, and it's almost
worship. You know there's only one God that doesn't beget nor is he begotten. You know
I guess Allah is dependent because Allah says in order for him to have a son, he needs a mate.
And you know that the Holy Spirit
Allah says, how can I have a son when I have no mate?
It crumbled.
So
this is our strongest argument against Christianity. It succeeded.
Why is
finished
Allah
you, my
dependent on
friend.
the mate?
Any last words before we go?
Yeah,
We're bringing
Allah's
out
dependent
the
on the mate in order to have a
now.
son. He's dependent. He just
All right,
refuted Allah.
let's bring out our friend. You can speak to him,
He
please.
just refuted
Oh, here we
Allah.
go.
Well.
Well, look who it
We are
is.
here. Sheikh.
If
Live.
it isn't, if it isn't
to each
this
other,
dog
please.
here,
So let me.
why are you substituting?
Oh, can I?
Good job.
Can I?
You hear that? You hear that? Ah, like the levels of cowardice here. So he does this, then even that doesn't work. So then he goes on to copyright strike it. Oh my goodness, layers of cowardice, man. This is the tiramisu of cowardice. There's one layer of cowardice and another layer of cowardice and another layer of cowardice. Tiramisu.
There's something that's really bizarre here.
You think?
So basically, the only argument, that Mohammed Hijab did is he brought up Surah Al-Ikhlas, which is Surah 112, and he's like, well, in Surah Al-Ikhlas it says he's self-sufficient, he does not beget, he was not begotten, he's using this particular argument. Okay, that's sufficient to a Muslim. Your job is you have to persuade a Christian to take on that perspective. Christians don't agree with that point of view.
He's doing a crap
You
job,
don't
I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Christian that who understands the theology, understands hypostatic union, understands all of these kind of positions, the theology, it's a very different kind of framework. Taking a very kind of, I don't want to be kind of rude, but taking a very infantile thing of saying, oh, he doesn't have kids, and he doesn't, yeah, you're flexing your pecs. He said he doesn't have kids, he wasn't born, and he's one. Who is that going to persuade? You need a much more
people who already
complex
believe it.
That's it. It's not impressive to someone who doesn't take this position and has a different theology, and he doesn't understand how to engage it. He doesn't understand Christian theology, and he's just like, well, because it doesn't make sense, I'm going to reject it. Well, God is complex. I would think that that's the nature. Making God hyper simplistic isn't a win for you, because then what happens is that God may seem more like a mere kind of person that's just right around you. So that's not a good position for him. And I don't think he understands that, even theologically speaking. He's coming in like, blazing, and he's like, I scream and yell at the top of my lungs and laugh. And that is equivalent to winning this argument, instead of actually trying to understand this theology, which he just doesn't understand. I think most Muslim debaters don't. I've listened to a lot of them. Like, there was that one that was talking to, what's the name, Islamic Apex or something, and he's like, relax. That's all he could say was relax. He couldn't engage the point of the Islamic dilemma. Yeah. So he just yelled, relax. He just said, repeated relax 1,000 times, and you're like, this is your argument, relax? That's all you have to say? It's the same kind of argument.
Yeah, and you've got Orthodox here, so look at who they bring on. Hijab and Orthodox called Godlogic's wife a whore. I don't know what Hijab has said, but Orthodox definitely celebrating the attack on Chris. Chris got punched in the face for... They say it's because Chris approached him aggressively, and so no, they punched David first. And then Chris just goes, well, what are you doing? And then the guy came up and punched Chris in the face, and they love that. This guy is on record, thanks to Malik, for beating his wife. I've seen him threaten to grape a woman for questioning Islam. I think Orthodox, like character-wise, actually worse than Hijab. And I mean, you guys know what I think of Hijab. Yeah. I think he's worse. He's brand new, and he's already this bad. And they get worse as they go on, and as they get more and more followers. They get worse and worse, depending on what they can get away with.
I think it's because he randomly gained so much clout so fast because he debated God logic. And he literally copied everything God logic does down to his profile picture. Yeah. And so he gained a bunch of clout really quick. And so now his ego just skyrocketed, and he doesn't know how to actually manner himself properly.
Well, to be fair, he didn't copy God logic exactly. He did duck lips, right? Like in his picture, he goes like this.
Duck lips, but the same blue background.
Yeah. That's true. All right. Well, this doesn't last long, so we'll see what happens. I have not seen when it happens, but
I have the rest, by the way. If you ever want to watch it on my channel, I have the rest where the Orthodox, but the whole interaction where God logic leaves, comes back, all that stuff.
No, I have the video Jai sent me from your channel where you pop up. So we'll figure out what we want to see there. And
I speak? No, you cannot speak.
I can't.
No, where are you going? So you
Can I
ran
speak?
away to bring up the puppy?
Hello, can I speak?
You ran away to bring up the pup?
Hello,
I
can
thought I was
speak?
talking to the champ.
Logic, can I speak?
Yeah, and just imagine, guys. He starts off the live saying, "The champ, yes, the final boss, the final." How does the final boss bring in someone else to take on his argument, right? How does the champ? Imagine, guys. Imagine back in the day, man. Muhammad Ali, he's boxing. Oh, he's the champ, and he says, "I can't finish. Let me bring in someone else. George Foreman, take my place. Take my place against Joe Frazier here." You'd be like, "What? Wait, what? You could do that? You're the champ? The heck?
Crazy,
What is
man.
this? That's insane."
Boy, I need help.
Man? What's wrong, man?
brought the rookie up.
Are you good?
I don't deal with rookies, man. You've already dealt with.
All right,
I'm talking to
speak?
the champ.
Can I speak?
No, you
Why are
cannot
you
speak.
scared?
You
Why
don't.
are you
You don't
afraid?
have a voice here.
Why are
You don't have a
afraid?
voice.
Yeah, all I hear is
You don't
quack,
wanna speak to
quack,
me?
quack,
Oh, looks like Mohammed Hijab ran.
quack, quack.
All right,
Hijab
guys.
ran.
So it looks like Hijab
Logic,
proved that the
don't
Trinity is
run away.
logical. He
Don't
proved
run
that he
away.
has absolutely
Don't run away.
no
Don't run
argument
away.
against the Trinity.
Don't
Hey,
run away,
I want to say
Logic.
thanks for coming, Hijab.
He's running. He's running.
Appreciate
Look,
I
you.
want you to
Hijab.
talk to my
Quack,
friend a
quack.
little bit there.
I don't talk to
I want you
rookies.
to
Quack,
my friend.
quack.
I don't be scared of him.
Go get
Don't
better.
be scared of him. Why are you
Go
scared?
get better.
Why are you scared of him?
I just destroyed the champ.
Don't
Don't,
run.
no,
I just
but whatever.
destroyed the
You keep
champ.
my friend here, please, man.
Why would I talk to
Don't
your
run.
pup?
Let's speak. Let's
My
speak.
friend wants
Hey,
to talk
y'all.
to you.
Hey,
My friend
man,
wants
just
to talk
you, man. God bless you,
My friend
man.
wants to talk to you.
Yeshua Akbar.
My friend wants to talk to you.
Hey, man, get happy
My
next
friend
before we
wants to
talk.
He's running.
My friend wants to talk to you.
He's running. Why is he
Why-
running?
why-
I won't talk to you again until you get have a
Quack,
little.
quack.
Don't run away.
Why?
Don't run away. Don't run away.
Hey, y'all, peace,
Let's
man.
speak.
Hey, Hijab, thanks for having me, though,
My
man.
friend
He's
wants
running.
to
Thanks.
talk to you, though.
He's running.
Thanks,
I'm
Hijab.
gonna talk to
Brought
him.
in
Let him
brought in
talk.
Daffy Duck.
He doesn't want to talk. You see
You know
that?
what it is, Orthodox? Sorry to say, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to admit this. But you know, Avery is a little bit like a.
Oh yeah, he was about to go there. Yeah. Good time
Quack,
to
quack.
leave. Good time to leave.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a coward, man. Come on my channel and debate me.
Crazy.
And you
Insane.
sound like an idiot the entire time, get schooled, and you have to bring in some rookie to rescue you from, my goodness,
Horrible.
what a joke.
That
All
was
right.
amazing. We just saw the champ get taken down, man.
That was the champ guy. I mean, I think Hijab been doing this for a while. God Logic's only been around a few years. And just slapped him around. My goodness. Till Hijab like tag team. He's tapping. He's tapping. Not in the Zut sense, but he's tapping. All right, what else? We've been going. It took a long time to get through that, and I know people may have to go to sleep. But what do we want to check out? Do we want to check out the video, Nick?
Up to you guys, man. Everyone else here. I'm down for whatever.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's good. That's good because I know we all stay up pretty late except for Jai.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I can stick around.
My part with him wasn't that long, anyways, because he
Yeah.
just like yapped and
Yeah.
then kicked me and then brought me back up and then kicked me again.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's not as long as the video length is. It just
Oh, okay.
Nick was live during the time, so yeah.
Okay. So this
I
is
could
the,
take an
this
oath
is
by
the
Allah
video.
now.
Where do I
Yeah.
go in this?
Just start going towards the end a little bit. You'll
Towards
see.
the end of the video? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is, let's see. So this was just
You'll see on the screen when they actually bring Nick.
you
up.
were
You'll
live
see,
watch. So you were live watching, and then that's when Avery left, and then that's you. And
There, yeah.
okay, so go back a little
Yeah, you'll
before this.
see. Yeah. Yeah, because I was about to. They were actually about to bring me up. They said my name. The other dude who didn't know me said bring up Nick, and then they said, "Oh no, Logic's here. Let him up." So I just started live streaming. Okay, because I was gonna get live stream our conversation anyway. So
Right, let's see here.
Over time or identity over time has nothing to do with relative identity.
Well, that's what
Crazy,
happens
man.
when you go put ChatGPT.
Did he just say? Did he just say identity over time has nothing to do with relative identity?
Yeah, he was commenting on the Titanic analogy.
yeah, he was trying to defeat the Titanic thing.
Okay, I thought this guy studied and now he sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
But Orthodox, since you're here and since
Yeah.
Nick is here as well, do you want to speak to Nick?
Yeah, he could come up. I've been trying to speak to
How are
him.
you, Nick? Well, let's
I'm
introduction for Nick.
fantastic.
Is he an important figure?
Not
Just
really,
notice
to
the
be honest.
difference with how Hijab treats Nick here. Just by the way, just watch this.
Yes, and
Not
no, we-
Libiano. Libiano clear is
Oh, and I
afraid
want
of
to say,
Nick.
by the way, By the way, right before this, and that's clipped in the beginning of this video, he said that he will swear an oath by Allah that I was feeding Logic answers. So I just want to keep that in mind. He said, unprovoked, he would take an oath by Allah that he would do that. So keep that in mind when we're watching this.
Let's see.
I mean, I made him say that Rock was a person before, so I guess I'm nobody. He muted me already.
Yeah. So yeah, he's kind of irrelevant, but he's.
I mean, muted me already.
No, I'm gonna let you guys talk, but I just want you to just Nick, how are you, my friend? Are you all right?
I'm good. How about yourself?
So
yeah, not bad. I want to give you a chance to speak to my friend, Orthodox Muslim. He's a great man. I met him in person. I like him. I think he's one of our guys now that are gonna be we're pushing him. And inshallah, like
not the Zoot sense.
You can listen to him call you to Islam. You seem like a sincere brother. If you need anything, if you need any resources from us, then
this seems very racist here.
Yeah.
You all saw the black dude. The black dude was on the screen like, "You're nothing. You're worthless. You're scum. You buck-toothed loser. What did your daddy done? What did your daddy done?" And Nick comes on there. He's like, "Hello, my hello. What can we do? Would you like us to serve some tea?"
What does he know about Nick by this point? What basis does he have for saying he's a sincere guy and so forth? This is just rhetoric. He's buttering him up.
You don't want Hijab buttering something up, man. That's just
well.
Right, let's see.
Nick, what was here for you, my friend? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So Nick,
Orthodox, you can take over for a little bit with Mr. Nick over here.
Yes. Let me just ask him, Nick. Can you take an oath by God that you weren't giving Avery answers?
Answers to what? I don't take oaths by God. They said, let our yeses be yeses and our no's be no's.
Can you take an oath by God and say, may God destroy me if I wasn't feeding
We're not supposed
Avery
to take oaths by God. What are you talking about?
Were you feeding Avery answers?
No, I wasn't feeding him answers.
You weren't feeding Avery answers?
No.
Are you willing to swear an oath by that?
I don't know how many times I gotta say we don't do oaths.
You know you are a liar, Nick. You know you are a liar because Avery.
It's always crazy. The literal biggest bunch of liars I've ever seen in my life, and I've been to prison. Anthony, you've been to prison. I've been to prison. You ever see liars who lie as freely with as little concern for consequences as dawah guys?
Well, what was funny is when earlier when Hijab kept saying, show some respect. That's like everybody's line in prison, right? Every issue comes down to whether or not somebody respected or didn't respect somebody else, right? That's like, I had a guy tell me once that used to be a detention guy or something. He said, I can always tell somebody who's been in prison based on how many times they use the word respect in a sentence. But anyways, Hijab kept saying that. I kept thinking, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Hijab did some time. But certainly the fact that these guys are chronic liars is off the charts, the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's this weird situation where even guys who lie a lot, they still want to be believable by people who are hearing them. Whereas the dawah guys, they know their dawah fans will believe anything they say, no matter how obvious of a lie it is. And so there's no consequences for it. They don't have to be careful. You can just lie 1,000 times. And, that's just dawah. But what's amazing is then they'll call other people liars. That's so weird. That's so insane to me.
I also think, though, what seemed obvious to me is he wanted to immediately get control of the conversation because he doesn't really want to talk about the issue. He wanted to make it about Avery, right? He wanted to talk about whether he's being fed answers and so forth. I think Libiano's petrified to deal with the issue, and that was just an attempt to detour it.
He really wanted to deal with the issue with Avery, but as soon as I come up, now he doesn't want to deal with it anymore.
Weird stuff.
Has no
Such a liar.
Avery has no idea what these things were. Avery started with
how did he say it
by saying that Jesus is God by predication. Then he went to saying that he believes in relative identity. Do you admit that's a blunder?
No, I don't think that's a blunder.
So in relative identity, that Jesus is God is a predicative
statement?
statement?
He can be using two different views. He can be talking about two different views.
No. Under relative identity, Jesus is God. Is it a predicative statement?
No, I agree. It's an identity statement. He can be talking about two different views.
Avery made a blunder, right?
No, he didn't. He can be talking about two different views.
Let's try this again, Nick. when Mohammed Hijab asked Avery, when you say Jesus is God, is that a predicative statement? He said yes, right?
Yeah, so yes, he was starting off with a
Yes,
different
okay.
view. Yes.
Nope, he didn't say different view. He asked him
Oh
about
wow!
his
So he
belief.
didn't say
He
different
asked
view,
him,
so he couldn't have been talking about a different view.
You guys
Wow.
see? You guys see? Nick is exposing his own buddy.
Wow.
Because his own buddy actually is confused. He was just
I don't think he's
reiterating
confused.
whatever Nick was telling him. And now Nick doesn't want to admit that he blundered. So Nick, I'm going to keep pressing you on this. When Avery was asked if Jesus is God is a predicative statement, did he say yes?
Correct. At first he said yes, because he was talking about a different view.
Beautiful. Nope. Show me. Where did he talk about a different view?
When did he say he wasn't?
Yeah.
If you think he wasn't, bring him.
Wait. So
if you think he wasn't talking about a different view, bring him up and let's ask him.
This is
If I was feeding him answers, if I was feeding him answers and doing all this, bring him up and let's ask him.
I know. Bring him up.
But let's ask him. Let's ask him if he was talking about a different view.
And he's gonna talk. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
Of course, he's gonna say different view now to save himself.
Let me text him and tell him to come back.
And we're gonna talk. Yes, bring him up.
Okay.
Bring him up.
Okay.
Bring him up. And I'm gonna ask him because you didn't text him anything. So I'm gonna.
What was that?
The next 30 to 45 seconds is us basically just waiting on Logic to come back, but he comes back in 45 seconds, just so you know.
Okay.
Ask him about the
I'll
things
text
he
him
said,
right now and tell him to come.
And let's see if he knows about the things he was saying, because he doesn't know anything. He was reading off of your text. So you be
That's
quiet.
what Mohammed Hijab was doing.
Yeah, I would love someone to ask Libiano, hey, what do you think of Hijab's response? Did Hijab know what he was talking about?
Yeah, I think I actually did mention that. You'll see later on.
Oh, cool.
But also,
again,
I think like right now, what's about to happen, I think like right after you unpause it, is he's gonna blunder and say that when I asked him, will you take an oath by Allah? Even though he just said I would take an oath by Allah, he's gonna say no, now he won't.
They're doing the same thing though now. He's doing it. Hijab was doing it before. The people in the chat. He's saying Avery's not smart enough or informed enough to be coming up with these answers on his own.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick's got to be feeding it to him, and then he's turning around and saying what Avery said is just gobbledygook, doesn't make any sense, and so forth. I mean, which is it? You can't have both. And so on the one hand, he doesn't want to actually deal with Nick. He thinks he wants to deal with Avery. I mean, I don't know how these two things go together. It's like he's bantering back and forth, but
And real fast before he says this, I want to play. It's like literally just a 10-second video of when Libiano did. So everyone here has context. Libiano. The reason why I asked Libiano back to take an oath is because he literally said this.
I could take an oath by Allah now that he was get fed answers by a guy called Nick Swerve. Okay.
So he said, I would take an oath by Allah onto that. So let's see if he actually does when I ask him to.
Let's see.
And let me ask Avery about the things that he was.
Who you swear an oath by Allah that he was reading off of my text?
Why would I swear an oath by Allah?
So you're making claims that you don't know that are true?
I can make a probabilistic claim because I know.
Okay, so you're saying things you don't know that are true.
I know it. I have a level of certainty.
Okay, so you're not sure. You're saying things that might be false.
And he's admitted that you're his teacher, and he's admitted that he learns from you the Trinity, and he says the same things that you say, but he was confused, and he was visibly confused to anybody who knows. It's just a little bit of what they're talking about.
He was not confused to me.
He went from saying Jesus is God by predication, then he said relative identity, then he was given arguments about persistence over time. He was confused, so bring him back up. Let's talk him.
I can't see the request right now.
If you don't bring him back up, you're getting kicked too.
Wow, I'm not surprised you would try that.
Yep.
Oh, wow. So he's making it clear he only wants to talk about Avery and nothing else. And so we either talk about Avery and Avery comes back and we talk about Avery, or you're gone. Interesting.
Frightening.
Sounds like sincere learners here.
Surprised.
Yep. Don't be surprised.
I know you and Hijab were scared to debate me on the Trinity.
We're
okay.
so scared of you.
I know.
Bring him back up.
I know.
Come on. You're little fish.
I can't say I'm little fish. Says the guy that's always begging Logic.
Yes, bring him up. We're waiting. You said
I can't see who's in the queue.
He's gonna prove that he knew what he was talking about. He wasn't getting answers from you. He was clearly confused, and of course you don't want to admit it because you don't want to throw him under the bus. So bring him up.
I can't see the cue.
Wait, hold on a second. I was really confused when I was watching this live. Why does he keep asking you to bring him up? Like I said, it wasn't your live.
I don't know
Like,
why
what
I
is
had
he?
to keep on saying like 30 times, I'm not in the queue. And he literally, I texted me, he was like, I'm in the queue waiting for me
Yeah,
to let me
but
up.
he keeps telling you to bring him up. It's Mohammed Hijab's live stream. Like, what is he?
They're confused on every aspect of livelihood.
Yeah, hey, Libiano, if you're serious, hey, bring yourself up on my live stream right now.
Right.
We're making fun of you. Come on, bring yourself up.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not doing it, coward. Yeah.
I can't bring anybody up.
Call him. Text him. You said you're gonna.
I can't see if he's in the queue or not.
Okay, well, if he doesn't come up, you're getting.
I don't know where Hijab is at. Hey, Logic said he's here. Logic is here.
Can you come back?
Logic is here. He's in the queue.
Come back on the screen.
Logic is here. He's in the queue.
Okay, bring him up.
I can't do it. Hijab, bring him up.
Bring him up. Come on, Nick.
Wow.
Nick, you need to bring someone up on this other channel that you don't control. What's wrong with you, man? We're waiting. We're waiting patiently.
Privileges back, man. When I became an undercover Muslim and I'm a Christian now, man, I forgot he took away my privileges, man.
We're gonna see how bad this is. How Nick is gonna have to throw his boy under the bus.
And Hijab, come back. We can do it 2v2. Come back, Hijab.
Yeah, we could do that.
We can all talk 2v2, Hijab. Come back, man. No worries.
Let me get in touch with the cameraman real quick. Hold on. Make sure Logic comes back and explains the things that he was saying. Let's see if he understands anything he said. All right. It'll be a second. We're going to see if Logic is in the queue so I could sit down with him a little bit and tease him about the things that he was saying that he had no idea about. Relative identity, persistence over time, mixing shit up, talking about liveness is
Hijab
law.
literally said the law of identity is the same thing as live and is law.
Avery was, God
There
is,
you go,
Jesus,
David.
God in
I
the
mean,
predicative sense.
Hijab
Then he
said, the law of identity
believe
equals
the
live and is law.
identity.
Hey, will you admit? Will you admit Hijab blunder?
Let me talk to him.
Wait,
now.
will you admit Hijab blunder?
Oh, wait, let me
Hey,
talk-
isn't that interesting? He's saying, "Oh, you have to. Well, you're too scared to admit it," and you're asking him, "Well, just admit Mohammed Hijab blundered." I'm guessing he never did.
Never. He wouldn't do it.
I'm curious, who's this impressive to? Like, no Christian is impressed by this performance. Like, your job, I mean, I guess if you're just like cheerleading for your like Salafi friends, I mean, I guess that's working, but I'm like, I don't think I mean, if you're a Dawa Gandhist and you're, this is your goal is to bring people to Islam, this is like an epic failure. I don't think any Christian would ever be persuaded by this. The only argument they're saying is, well, I'm going to really reduce what I'm hearing because I like to hypersimplify stuff. What they're saying is, the Trinity doesn't make sense. It's not logical. That's basically all they're saying. With all the fluffy language, that's the only argument they're making. Okay, you think God makes sense according to human logic? God doesn't have to make sense. This is the part that I think is just so stupid. It's like, you're like, your perspective of God is stupid. I'm like, yeah, to Christians, your perspective of God is stupid too. So there you go.
Yeah, it sounds
not
like
impressive.
Yeah, sounds like what they're really saying, even on a more basic level, is we want to believe in a God that like we can just totally get our minds around, is really simple and easy for human minds to understand. It's like, isn't that like the definition of a false God? I mean, dude, guys, if you want some really easy to understand God that you can get your tiny little human intellect and just, we get this, go with the Greek gods, man. They're just like us. They're just more powerful. Go with those. Why don't you go with those? Right? They're even simpler to understand than Allah. So they must be the true ones, right? And we can add to the fact that once you start actually examining Islamic theology, it gets really, really confusing real quick. But you guys don't tell anyone that in your little Dawa script. But let's see.
Talk to him. Don't save your boy. Let me talk to him.
His
not talking to you.
You don't want to say it.
Just to answer the question. Just to answer the question.
No, don't
Nick
run.
did not feed me any answers.
All right, don't run.
I was talking to Hijab directly, and not only that, Hijab, you need to deal with Nick. Nick came up to you. You said challenge the champ, face the champ. Stop bringing up pups when you are on the hot seat. Let's have a conversation with Nick. I don't talk to little pups,
Hijab, I would
dogs
love to have a
who make
conversation
up
with you,
lies
Hijab.
and slander my wife. You will not get a comment. You won't. You don't. I know you beg for my
Okay,
attention.
Nick, okay,
My
Nick.
we're
This dude
shouting
is
for.
desperate
Okay,
for my
Nick,
attention.
Nick, Nick,
Get
Nick,
500,000 subs,
Nick,
then you
Nick.
can talk to
Look,
me.
he's
Maybe.
begging to kick me.
I might consider it.
Okay, wait,
Hijab,
so-
Hijab.
let's have a conversation.
Stop. Hey,
Hijab.
stop looking away. Hold on, Nick. Hijab, stop looking away. Stop looking away. Engage with Nick. He came up here to face the so-called champ. So engage with Nick and stop.
Hijab just like consciously editing himself out of his own show, man.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Bringing up rookies. That's number one. Number two, when I said predication, I was predicating the divine nature to Jesus. I was predicating the divine nature to Jesus. If I'm wrong about that, you guys let me know. Because the job didn't know what I was talking about.
Can I ask you about that?
So now,
Can I
Hijab,
ask
stop
you about
bringing up
that?
Pep.
He just said, what are you
Stop
talking
bringing up losers.
Can I
Stop
ask you
bringing
about
up
that? Oh my
pick-me's.
God.
Pick Misha up here. Stop bringing up this pick Misha who's like,
What are you doing?
Logic, pick
What are
me.
you doing, man? What are you talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Hey, Logic.
What are you
You're absolute embarrassment. Untuck your
talking about,
balls,
man?
be a man, and grow some courage, and
What are you
actually
talking
build up to me. Hijab,
The only thing Libiano's missing is you know, with all the yelling, is flexing his pecs because he doesn't have any. Anyway.
talk to Nick. Stop running from him.
Why are you over
Peace.
talking?
Masha Shua, Yeshua Akbar.
What's this guy talking
Stop
about?
running, Hijab.
Why are you panicking?
Talking about?
Stop
Oh,
panicking.
Hijab, are we?
I have to say, I'd have been ripping up a Quran long ago. Long ago. I'd have been ripping it, man.
Yes,
and
they're
I
about
mean,
to- they're about to
what are
kick
these
me in a
people
second
saying?
here. So
It's like, it's interesting. I'm listening to these two guys, Mohammed Hijab and Discount DJ Khaled, and I'm listening to them speaking, and I'm like, what are they actually saying? They're saying nothing. They're yelling, they're screaming, and I'm like, what happens if a conversation of morality and ethics come up? What are they going to say about that? Like, the thing is,
They're
the
gonna
arrogance
yell.
and the hubris-
What do you think they're going to do? They're going to behave in exactly the same way. That's the point. It's like it. I mean, it really seems like we'll just make the entire thing seem as repulsive as possible until Christians are like, why would we ever associate with that? And then they can say, you see, everyone is running from our powerful Tao.
It's really repulsive. Like, when I'm listening to these guys, like, I heard the apex Muslims saying relax. When I listen to these people, I'm like, it makes, if I were like a seeker and I'm trying to decide what religion I'm going for, Christianity or Islam, I would run away from Islam a million
Smart.
miles per second.
Do it.
If-
Do it. Do it.
I'm saying if I heard this, if I was, a seeker and I'm looking at these
You
debates,
just heard
to
it.
choose,
You just heard it.
I would run. I
You
would
hear
run.
this?
I
You hear
would
this,
run
everyone?
away.
Issa says, if I heard this, I'd be running from Islam. You just heard it.
I'm saying if I'm hypothetically looking into these situations, but I think it's really, really bad, and it's really humiliating. And it's like, when I see any Muslim saying this, I'm like, you're an ostrich sticking your head in the ground and sticking your fingers in your ears and saying like,
Sticking
you
things
can't
in.
actually believe. You can't believe what these people are saying and thinking that this makes sense. All they said was a bunch of fluff and no stuff. That's literally what they said. And they're loud and they're rude and they're condescending. And Mohammed Hijab was racist too. When he kept saying boy to Avery, I was like, wow, that looks like something from like Roots or something. Like, that was some kind of disturbing level. When I heard him, how he said it with that condescending tone, I'm like, I don't know, man. And people are rooting for this dude. I don't know what.
Wild stuff. All right, let's see him kick Nick.
Can I talk or not, Hijab?
Okay, yo, Hijab. If
Hijab, are we gonna speak or not?
If Logic is gonna run, kick Nick. Bye, Nick.
Wow,
Bye-bye.
wow.
Bye-bye.
Hijab, would you like to
Bye-bye.
speak or not, Hijab?
He wouldn't like to speak. Bye-bye.
What, you want to speak
Why,
to me?
why are you speaking for?
Yeah,
wow,
bye-bye.
they
You see?
kicked
So this
me.
is what we're doing.
Look at that.
Avery,
I don't even know what's going on.
Look at that.
Yeah,
So
then they end up
this is
bringing me back
supposed
up, but they just kicked me again, so it's kind of irrelevant.
So this is supposed to be like call in and face the champ. You call in and it's nope, kick him. Either Avery has
Yep.
to come back so I can attack Avery because I'm obsessed with Avery. Like every other
Yep.
Dawa guy now is obsessed with Avery. He's like Malik level obsessed with Avery at this point. Super creepy, weird fetish these guys got going on.
The fact that he's just taking orders from the Orthodox Muslims is very weird. Too.
Yeah, he does. You can see who's in charge there. Wait, so this is where
Yeah.
they bring you right back up?
Yeah, they ended up bringing me back up, and then they'll end up kicking me again,
no,
but they
sorry.
ended up bringing me back up. Yeah.
Let's see. So they kicked him. Oh,
There we go.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, just want to see because there's a lot of accusations. He needs to defend himself. And Nick,
Thank
there's
you.
a lot of accusations against
There's
you.
a lot of accusations here. I'll
Hey, Hijab, to be fair, there's lots of accusations against you too, buddy. And against Libiano.
tell you the truth. So this all stems from an earlier live where I debated Libiano here, and I made him say a rock is a person, and he has not liked me ever since then.
Yeah, so that's just
So okay, if
dishonest.
that's true, then
Wait, I can
think
show
this
you the
would be
clip. That's dishonest?
Yeah, so Nick, you took that clip out of context, and that clip was 3 years ago. But Nick, if we want to speak about relevant clips, are you still gonna hold to your parsing tag blunder?
Yeah, we can talk. Let's talk about
Were you-
both
were
clips.
you-
Yeah,
were
let's
you-
talk about
were you
both
correct-
clips.
Were you corrected on your
wait.
parsing?
Yeah, let's
tag
talk about
blunder?
both clips.
Relevance.
What's
If he says on the one hand, he says you took the clip out of context. Then he says that clip's from 3 years ago.
Which
Now,
one is it? Yeah.
the point of saying it's from 3
Oh.
years ago would be to say I've improved in my understanding. So which is it? It was out of
Yeah.
context, or
And by the way, you'll see soon that he starts panicking and also telling him to kick me again. The reason why is because I told Hijab I can show you the clip and I can show you it's not out of context. And then so Libiano got scared because he's like, oh my gosh, all of these people are going to see that I called a rock a person. I don't want people to see that.
Well, to be fair, The Rock is a person. I
Uh-huh.
saw him wrestle many
The
years.
Rock.
Yeah, that'll be his defense. Yes, I was talking about
Can you
Dwayne The Rock
imagine?
Johnson. He is a person. Prove to me that he is not a person.
Crazy.
Duck lip.
Are you corrected on calling a? Hey, tell me in what context is a rock a person?
Because you use the word person and
If you want to know what
idiosyncratic.
context
So
The
let
Rock
me-
is a person,
Wait, in the
Yeah,
clip.
so
Wait,
let
in
me-
the
so
clip,
let me-
did I or did I not say it according to your definition?
Nick, I'm gonna expose your hypocrisy here and your dishonesty. So when we were talking, by the way, 3 years ago, Nick got so embarrassed that he had to go dig up a clip from 3 years ago. That's how embarrassed he got. And then that
Nick is,
It's been on my page for a couple years now. So
you were using.
I feel like you're bullying Nick.
I'm bullying.
I mean, hey man, listen. Hey Hijab, I'm just curious. Hijab, I got a question for you, Hijab. Hijab, I got a question for you, Hijab.
He's too overqualified for you, Nick.
Hijab, I have a question for you, Hijab. Would you mind answering, Hijab?
I don't mind, but listen.
Okay,
do
thank
me
you.
a
Let me
favor
ask
then,
you a
Nick.
question.
I'll let you ask me questions.
Okay.
I will do that.
And this
But
is
if you do
not
me
a
one
gotcha.
favor-
It's a very easy answer. I'll answer as well
it's
if you
fine,
want.
It's fine, but do me a favor before that happens. I want you to speak to my friend here, Orthodox, because
It never
I'm trying to
happens,
push him
man.
out. He's a good friend of mine. He came, we saw each other in London, and he's got a great platform which we need to, spread.
Do it. Do it. I know everyone else. His behavior is so repulsive. We need to marginalize guys. You need to start thinking the opposite, right? You want these guys to be the face of Islam. You do. You just do. I know it sucks, and it's just weird. People have this mentality. No, I'd rather be interacting with these gentlemanly guys like Shabir Ali and Jamal Badawi and stuff. Look at the number of fans these guys have. These guys are massively more reflective of the state of Islam. So. These are the guys you want. These are the guys you want. May Orthodox Muslim get 100 times as many followers as he has now.
So if you let him speak to you, then it's a fair deal. Then you speak to him for a
All
little
right,
bit, and then you can speak.
He
to
removed me.
afterwards, Yeah?
he's out of hijab. This guy.
He removed
let me
me.
tell you what this guy's doing.
Oh,
he's trying to grow his page.
He removed me.
He's trying to get more subscribers.
Oh,
He
yeah.
had.
Was that it?
Yeah, he literally then just kicked me after that without
Yo,
saying
so
anything. He was sitting there saying, if you talk to him, you'll talk to me, and then he kicked me. They're so
he's saying
dishonest.
so Hijab wait, this is Hijab's channel. This was Hijab's channel, and Hijab on his channel said, "Yes, I will talk to you. First talk to him, and then someone kicks you."
Yep, and then I showed the StreamYard too to show it. Yep, absolutely. So it's, that was pretty much it. But yes, it's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Insane. They all lie. All they do is lie.
This is just bad. All right, guys. I just want to watch a minute or two of their aftermath video because it was so pathetic. It was clear they were clearly so embarrassed that they just go live afterwards and start talking about Avery, and then And then eventually, we won't even get to it, but eventually they bring Orthodox Muslim back on there to talk about Avery and, but it's just pathetic. But they got Subhor on there.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this.
What?
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to
come on.
this live stream. We are now going to do.
Gotta love the camera guy, too. Just let me in and out. Focus.
Afterthoughts on this absolute
Pick a spot and stick to it, man.
wreckage of this thick cook.
Did you hear this? Look at this. Look at this. This is what they have to say afterwards, after God Logic comes. Listen.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to this live stream. We are now going to do afterthoughts on this absolute wreckage of this thick cook whose stirring only led his recipes to become more viscous and just be more incoherent.
Who's this rhetoric meant for? It just caused it to be more viscous and to have too much paprika so that people don't even like the flavor of it anymore. And moreover, he cooked it too long so that it was overcooked, making it unpalatable to us. Yes, this is what happened. Who talks like this? Subhor. Subhor
He left like 10 minutes into Mohammed Hijab's discussion with Avery. He's probably been working on that little script the whole time, knowing that it was a demolition. And he's like, I gotta.
This is what he comes up with. Oh, okay. So here we go. And think, like, who has to do this, right? Do you not think the debate speaks for itself? I understand, like, having a kind of debate aftermath where people get together and talk about the points and stuff like that. You're just getting together. You're just like stopping and insulting, right? You're not fleshing anything out. You're just insulting him. Like, what is that?
He didn't actually even articulate himself. We could actually see he was reading off a screen. And while he was reading off a screen.
Yeah, we definitely saw Mohammed Hijab reading off a screen a bunch.
And this guy, notice he has to know that Hijab was reading.
Absolutely. They do not care.
Bold-faced liar.
Yep. He's the one who handed him the phone.
Liar.
Yeah.
Someone said that.
Yeah, so this is the guy that handed Mohammed Hijab the phone, and he's saying Avery.
Hold up. That's a funny comment. Where'd the comment go, man? How did I miss the comment, man? All right, I'll play this for a second. We'll see if he says anything of relevance.
He was trying to formulate the argument in a way that represents what he's actually reading, and he couldn't actually even do that. So it was terrible for him. He actually did the worst possible thing. The worst sin in intellectual debate, the worst sin is to leave the battlefield, is to basically not even explain yourself, not even justify your position.
Leave the battlefield after you brought up another person who called his wife a whore, and that's what you did, and you know this, and then you leave the battlefield, then Nick comes up and you kick him.
Yeah. I guess he left the battlefield against me then.
He totally did. And that's the worst sin.
Simply leave. And why did he do that? He did that because our brother, Orthodox Muslim, was on the live and he wanted to actually engage with him. And in fact,
no, he didn't. He wanted to insult him and get attention. Yes. And you can tell because Nick came up and did not want to have a discussion. He still wanted, even when Nick is up there, he still wanted to just attack Avery. That's it.
We gave him a fair trial. We gave him time to articulate. We had a back and forth, and Libiano was waiting in the background, so we didn't get him to interfere in the debate. The debate was 1-1, and now
what? What did I just? What did you hear? What he just said? Libiano was waiting in the background. We didn't bring him up because we wanted to keep it 1-1. You literally brought him up.
Yeah, like what are we talking about?
What is it? Hang on, watch a couple more seconds. Maybe you'll see anything of value.
We're gonna do is we're going to understand more about what led to this level of cowardice that live in front of the world, you had this apologist simply run away because he knew what was about to happen. So Orthodox Muslim is going to be given a link and he's going to join this live stream and we are going to speak to him. He's going to break down this epic debate that just took place.
Epic debate.
And I have to say, in all the years that we've been dealing with all these different opponents, this has to be possibly the worst opponent that we have dealt with live.
Like how?
And that is for a myriad of reasons.
How can anyone take this idiot seriously? Subwhore, you are a joke, man. An absolute joke. Guys, you hear that stuff, man? Oh, he's the worst opponent. He just annihilated you. It was so terrible. You guys are handing out copyright strikes left and right, like it's a sport, to try and rescue Hijab's plummeting reputation. It was already low. It was already low because of all the scandals, the hotel wives, all this stuff he's done over the years, all the messages about golden showers and all this nonsense. And then he gets obliterated by Avery. Total cowardice. And that's what they say. That's what they say in response. Oh, he was so weak. He was such... If that's the worst opponent you've ever faced, oh my goodness. I would love to see the other debates you guys have been involved in.
Yeah, by the way, speaking about copyrights, you guys saw I was a little distracted here. They just said they want me to say it, so I'll just say it. Mohammed Hijab's in complete panic mode. He just did another takedown request for another video on Avery's channel. So 2 of them are taken down so far. So this guy is completely melting down. And we'll see. I don't think it's going to go all the way that Mohammed Hijab wants it to go, but that's what he's doing right now.
No, what's crazy about YouTube is, as we all know here, it's hard to get it. It's hard to get their attention on the right issues and stuff like that. I don't know if they're overworked or if they're just completely lazy or something like that. But if someone who actually cares about his position at YouTube gets a hold of this, Hijab's done. You can't abuse copyright. You can't abuse copyright like this. They'll ban your channel. And then, of course, Hijab will say, I can't believe they got my channel shut down, when he's handing out copyright strikes like it's a sport. What a coward, man. What an absolute pathetic coward. Not sure what to do at this point. It's a joke at this point. All right, guys. Burn through these last super chats, and anyone can say anything they want. Nowadays, better stay away from colleges. That's a good idea. Shout out to Nick and Jai and DOC.
Thank you.
Issa diploma shaming Mimi. Very rude. Love you, Issa. Yeah, shame on you. Mohammed Hijab. Divine simplicity means I must understand God. Hang on. Where's DOC? Show us DOC or we riot. Then riot. I gave Hijab my... what the heck is that? I don't even know that word.
Aspectivalist.
Okay. Is that more of a theological thing?
It's like theological / philosophical. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like something people just know.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, how did I miss this? Anyway, I gave Hijab my aspectivalist model of the Trinity. That context make Hijab trying to include aspects into this discussion with God logic even more funny. As a dumb person, can you guys demonstrate how this debate should have gone?
Yeah. I mean, it should have gone with Mohammed Hijab saying he was sorry for ever thinking that he could debate this topic.
Yeah. If Hijab's inviting people on to debate and stuff like that, you would expect, if you didn't know Hijab, but you wouldn't expect all the chest thumping and trying to constantly degrade the other person and just showing that you have the better case and the better arguments and not appealing to this barely literate rabble. Better watching. You guys need to flex the pecs more. Okay, we will. Muslims were going nuts over eternal generation. They had no idea what it was. I asked one to define it. He gave me a laugh emoji and said, that's low tier, just clapping like barking seals. Yeah, they don't understand anything anyone's saying. And that's like years ago I heard from Christians in India. People watch the Zakir Naik lectures over there. Zakir Naik will give a talk and stuff like this, and he'll make his point and say, and that's why, blah, 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 and there's this thunderous applause. They said the people down in front are guys who don't even speak English, right? Like the Muslims they get in the audience down front, they don't even speak English. They're just trained. When he raises his voice like that, start cheering, and that's dawah, guys. It's all a show. Issa, so close, brother. Love you and God bless. Closer, closer. Thanks to all here and Anthony for always defending our historic Protestant faith. Glad to have you on our side. It's right. Us will let Anthony in because he has that beard. They might. They might. If I was a low hikmah Muslim, I'd have somehow believed hijab won until I saw the copyright strike. Oh, that's good. Yeah. Issa, name a video game boss as annoying as Mojab.
Name a what? Name a video game boss.
Video game boss as annoying as Mojab, because he's the final boss. So who's as annoying as Mohammed Hijab?
Well, there was this boss in this game called Ninja Gaiden, and they had it like on Xbox. It was the first boss of the game, and he just would block everything. He was just really annoying and really awful. It was just an awful situation. There's a lot of really cheap, annoying bosses. I would say Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII too is a really awful, annoying boss too. Yeah, there's quite a few. There's quite a few that I can think of.
He's here giving a dissertation on the history of video games.
Yeah. I mean, I could. There's a lot there's a whole pool. I'm sorry, I know we have a large stream here, so.
Nick is down for whatever, not in the Warner sense. Yeah, that's good. What's Issa's take on multi-personal God? Ooh, we hear from the Sufi.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, like I said, if you saw, I had a conversation with Avery too. I mean, it's not something that bothers me at all. I don't have a problem with it. So.
He has zero problem with it, and affirms it. There are wikis full of stats of Marvel heroes. I think modern readers expect something like that from Scripture, but it doesn't work like that. Dawa guys have Lego minds. We conquered the moon. Come to Jesus, Issa. Mojab once stuck his entire hand in his ear. I think that's a reference to the story about the guy with his hand getting stuck up. Anyway, is Issa Christian, but Allah made him a pure Muslim? That's a good question. We're all wondering.
What?
Can we get a live with Issa on why he's not a Christian and maybe on what is Sufi's theology? And guys sub to Fearless Truth so they can't cry he has no subs. Okay, yeah. As a matter of fact, we'll get to a question for someone else, and then I will add the link to the description here. Weird. Watching these Muslims immediately reminded me of a guy I know who was addicted to Percocets. The delusion is the same. Yeah. If Avery was being fed by Nick, that was some amazing processing time to process questions and respond in real time for both Nick and Avery. Yeah, that's what's insane about things. Now, if Avery at some point is looking up some notes or something like that, I don't know. But I don't know why that'd be a problem in debate. Yeah, the idea that Avery just has to be constantly fed information, guys. I've been at the Dawa booths with Avery. He doesn't have a computer in front of his face. I've been at the Dawa booths with Avery. I've been to Speaker's Corner with Avery. He went back the next year when I wasn't there and just completely obliterated every Dawa guy who would come near to him. Are you guys going to use the Chat GPT theory to explain how he crushes you in every interaction? Are you serious? This is the level you're at? Oh, he's answering stuff. He must be using Chat GPT because a black guy could never know these things. Boy. Yes. Wow. All right, guys, final thoughts on anything you want to share before we close out here?
I mean, I just think this just shows that even the best Muslims can't deal with us. They can't deal with our top guys. They can't even deal with our medium guys, right? I mean, there's no challenge. Christianity versus Islam is it's not really a challenge anymore.
It is. I mean, Dawa is just becoming a total joke over the past couple of years, and you kind of wonder what's gonna, like what comes out, like after the complete total collapse of Dawa, what comes after that? That's what I'm interested in, because it's imploding. It's absolutely imploding right now.
Yep.
Anthony. Again,
Well,
crazy
there's-
guys. I hadn't watched the Trinity debate, and I was like, not something I specialize in. Let me get Anthony on here. So for when things get really deep, and they start going through the Bible and theology, hey, Anthony's really good at this stuff. Let me get him on. And he's totally useless.
I was thinking there's two parts to this, right? You've got the influx of all these characters, Mohammed Hijab, this Libiano fellow, all the rest of them, in contrast to the kind of people we had before, right? You mentioned Jamal Badawi, all those sorts of guys in the past. Nobody knows about those guys anymore. That's ancient history, right? It was really only like 20 years ago or so, but I mean, I don't know when the last time Badawi did anything or any of the other guys from that time period. But the other part of this is there are Islamic scholars around that can at least behave themselves and give off an appearance of self-control and so forth. But they back out of the debates, right? I was supposed to do a debate at Wayne State University with a Muslim scholar, Mustafa El-Turk, and then he backed out. Mm-hmm. And then I was supposed to debate Dr. Zulfikar Ali Shah, who is a foremost Muslim scholar here in America, and then he backed out. And those were both Sunni scholars, so then the Shia had to come along and pick up the slack, and the first Shia guy backed out, then the second Shia guy backed out. There were 5 people in total, and I didn't even hear about all of them until later, but anyways, I finally ended up debating a guy who was there standing. But my point is just that, these other guys are not even coming onto the stage, and then you got people like Hijab that are only too willing and making a mockery of everything. So they only have themselves to blame for how dumb they look.
Yep, that is the state of Dawah. By the way, that was me and Nabil back in the day. Me and Nabil saw that back in the day. They're like, hey, they got Shabir Ali and then Zakir Naik, and he won't debate, and Jamal Badawi, he'll debate, but these guys don't really reflect the Muslims that we talk to normally, and they won't debate like, was Muhammad a prophet, or, is the Quran the word of God? They won't come near that stuff. So instead of, guys, back then, if you wanted a Christian-Muslim debate, you had to go to a Muslim organization, say that, hey, we're a Christian organization, you're a Muslim organization, we'd like to have a debate, and then they would handpick a Muslim debater who's going to make a very, very good impression on non-Muslims. But they would tell you, okay, here are the topics that he's willing to debate. Is Jesus God? Is the Trinity true? Did Jesus die by crucifixion? Is the New Testament reliable? Those are the topics. Hey, pick one. And they were making the rules. And then so if you wanted to debate, you'd have to agree to the debate. The Muslim attacks Christianity the entire time. The Christian defends the entire time. And they would make it a rule if you criticize Islam during this debate, the debate's over, all the Muslims are walking out, so you'd know not to criticize Islam. That's how things worked back then. And me and Nabil were looking at that, and we're like, no, this is massively screwed up. So let's change it. Let's announce on the internet, we want to debate this topic, and whichever Muslim is willing to debate it, if it's a Muslim scholar, fine. But if it's not, then whoever wants to debate it can debate it. And so we'll start getting attention for people who actually have the courage to stand up and defend these things instead of people who are rigging the entire system. And so we started that, and that's when we started debating all these guys and debating the guys from the UK and stuff like that. And then we started getting debates on, is the Quran the word of God, and is Muhammad a true prophet and stuff. And fast forward, after years of that, you eventually get the total takeover of the Dawah scene by chest-thumping cavemen. Ha, if you see this, you see, ha, we're so strong. The crazy part is now even these guys are breaking down, right? Now even these guys aren't willing to have any sort of actual debate. So we're going to have to do this again. We're going to have to say, okay, we can't even debate with you guys anymore. Is there any Muslim on the planet willing to do this again? Because your current lineup is biggest bunch of cowards we've ever seen. They copyright strike everything. So anyway, that's a quick history of Dawah over the past 20 years.
I had a
Except
question.
there's one difference, real quick. The it was the case before YouTube made it so lucrative that a lot of these guys would eventually drop out. So they didn't last very long. They would do it for a while. I don't know what the average span was for these guys to do Islamic apologetics, but they didn't stick around for too long, right? They would run out when they thought they had good arguments, and once they found out the arguments didn't work, they would eventually slink back into the corner they came from. But now they're sticking around a little bit longer, and I think it's because some of them are, their livelihood is based on YouTube. But, there's no more Bassam Zawadi, right? He's gone.
Bassam, Sami Zaatari,
all the guys.
Osama Abdullah, everyone we were debating back then, they're all gone.
Yep. But
we're still here.
We're still here. You'll notice almost all the Christian debaters are still around.
We're still here. We are still here.
So I had,
go ahead.
I had a question. My question was, you said that you can't insult Islam in the debate.
No. This was. Keep in mind, I hadn't debated at this point.
Sure.
We were hearing from the Christian debaters. We're like, what? Because we're like, why aren't you guys debating? Is Muhammad a prophet? And they explained how it worked. They explained how it works when they set up a debate and why it's always a Christian topic. And it was the same thing. It was the same thing every debate. The Christian would lay out his case for the Christian doctrine. The Muslim would attack it the entire time, and it made it look like Christianity is just always on the defensive and Islam is just crushing Christianity. And then in the end, because the Muslim would speak last, so he'd have his closing statement. And so the closing statement every time would be, so you see, Christianity has all these problems and Islam has none of these problems. And that's why you should all convert to Islam. We've got the scientific miracles. We've got the perfectly preserved book. It was all complete nonsense, but it's the end of the debate. And that's how it works. So it was a brilliant strategy. It was just evil. So anyway, we countered it and changed it.
The question I was going to ask, though, that I think is interesting, is that the standard they're saying is you need to debate my topic, but we'll walk out if you say something negative about Islam. Then I'm like, if I'm the Christian apologist and I'm entering the room, and you're telling me that Trinity is false, right? Well, then I should walk out too. If we're using your standard that if our faith is being attacked,
but that's the idea. The Christians wanted the debate, and so if you want the debate, you just have to agree to the rules. And that's what we're saying. We were saying you should not agree to these rules. But it's like, but we want to debate. We really want to debate at our school. And the Christians had the mentality of like, we want to have the debate, even if we think this is a screwed up system, because we want to show that we can all be in the room together and get along and stuff. And I'm like, don't grant that. Don't grant that stuff. So anyway, yep, we fixed it. But then these Dawah clowns take over and they're trying to do something similar, right? Now it has to be on their platform. They get to control the mute button. It's just, Islam is just built. It cannot be a fair discussion. And to me, if you can't have a fair debate with neutral rules on a neutral platform, I don't think you take your argument seriously. And I don't see why the truth would need that sort of methodology. Lies need that methodology. Lies need that to defend it. Take note, Issa. Take note. Hey, Jai, final thoughts, man, before we close out?
Yeah, that was a disaster for Mohammed Hijab.
Yeah, it was.
And it was great to watch. Great to watch, though. But yeah, Islam is false and Jesus is Lord.
Amen.
Yep, and absolutely. And yeah, I already saw that if Avery was being fed by Nick, this is basically a good summary. If Avery was being fed by Nick, that was some amazing processing time to process questions and respond in real time for both Nick and Avery. Yeah, and I have to say, if you're really just being fed information that you don't know and you're just reading it off a screen, you sound like Mohammed Hijab, right? You sound like Mohammed Hijab. This is some difficult stuff to pick up off the cuff if you're not familiar with it. And you end up sounding like an idiot who can't understand examples like the Titanic and stuff. You can't even understand a clear example. But that's Mohammed Hijab.
And the streams are delayed too. Like it's not like you're seeing it we're talking right now, but people aren't seeing this until like 20 seconds later. So in order to keep up with the conversation, it would be really difficult to do that.
Kefka versus Sephiroth. Who's the better villain? This is... Go ask Mike Winger, man. It's all this nerd stuff.
You're funny. I have an answer, but... I mean, I would say the simple...
Okay, go ahead. Give your answer.
I would say the simple answer is that I think narrative-wise, Kefka is the more, like, kind of horrific villain, but if you're going based on, like, the difficulty of the battle, then it would be Sephiroth. So it just depends on what you're looking for there.
Well, glad we solved that mystery, everyone. And last one, D Wood, please react to Arul Speaker's Corner versus Lesbiano. Haven't seen that, but Lesbiano sucks. Anyway, all right, guys, thanks for watching. This is not over. Hijab supposedly is going live again. What is it, tomorrow for another?
Yeah.
I don't know who is interested in interacting with him, but yeah, behavior is absolutely repulsive. Not going to last, because it's serious abuse of copyright system in order to try and cover things up. No way this ends well for Hijab. Dawa's melting down completely. And that's just welcome to 2026, guys. Welcome to 2026. Just getting started. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining and watching. We will catch y'all next time.